mad at me.
I could bet you do a kiss from a rose on the street.
Was
Like,
not
I
into
had
the
that
Seal
fight or
soundtrack
flight
when I was a
reaction
kid.
for real. That was terrifying.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Nerd on the Podcast You Didn't Need But Deserve, where all levels of nerd are welcome.
Yeah, you are.
We are in the middle of our anniversary celebration. Part two.
Three-part extravaganza.
3 parts, 3 movies. They're all on your
Electric Boogaloo.
podcast feed right now. If you're subscribed, you should be. If you're not.
This is part 2.
So if you are confused as to why this is the episode, you just missed one, right? Hit the previous, and you'll get
And
Batman
listen away.
Begins. Check out Batman Begins. But today, we fight against those who want to watch the world burn. We realize our show's namesake by embodying the silent guardian, the watchful protector, not the podcast you need but deserve. We're continuing our 2-year anniversary with Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight.
Woo! There we go.
There we go.
Caitlin, now you get it.
I get it.
2 years later,
Yeah.
you get
The
it.
podcast you didn't even but deserve.
Holy smokes. Get it?
So I've done
You
nothing
get
but
it?
mention
I think
this
so.
movie and reference this movie myself.
Yeah.
Probably every episode at some point.
Only you.
Only me. So
No one
I'm
else.
particularly very excited for it. But before we get into that, and before we destroy microphones, my name is Ali.
He pointed at me, and my name is Tom.
And my name is Caitlin.
And my name is Tom.
And my name is
No.
Josh.
Because I'm Corey.
My name is actually Josh.
For real.
And this episode is brought to you in part by the Nerd On Nation that is powered by
Patreon.
If you are new to what Patreon is, it is essentially a exclusive membership service in which you can get exclusive stuff like a Discord server that is hopping all the time. You get exclusive access to bonus episodes. You get early access. You get
Early access to this merch, baby.
new
Discount merch, early access merch.
all sorts of good stuff. And you can get that stuff for as low as $1 to $5 a month. But check it out, nerdon.io/Patreon. This episode is also brought to you in part
Ooh.
by our friends over at
Comixology.
Oh, it
Is
is.
it?
Yeah, did your thing.
Is that going to be it?
No, I just wanted to.
Okay.
It made me happy. It's good.
Okay. Well, it's new, and we're so glad to be partnering with them. But yeah, you can check that out, nerdon.io/Comixology, and a little of every purchase goes to helping us keep the lights on, to upgrade, to get new cameras.
Cover more
'cause
things.
That's our new thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
More
Mhm.
comic books, all sorts of good stuff, but check that out. nerdon.io/Comixology.
Josh,
Yeah.
would you say it's the internet's #1 source for comic books?
I would say that. I would 100% say that.
I would
I bet
definitely say that, Tom.
Comixology would probably say something like
and
that
if you
too.
wanted to get comic books that this movie was based on, you can go on nerdon.io/Comixology.
Okay, all right.
Wow.
Anywho.
I can't wait
End
till
scripted moment.
I'm on
Yeah.
a Wheaties box. I can't fucking wait.
Actually, a little bit of a spoiler for the Nerd On Nation and for people who might want to join the Nerd On Nation. The Cables Crusaders will be doing a bonus episode that is about the comics
Yeah.
that this trilogy is based on.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Coming out next week.
How
the one,
convenient.
Like the one right in front of us?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, shit.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have to watch the video version for those listening. Batman The Long Halloween is on our desk.
Watch it on WorldStar. That's where we have it up.
No. No.
No.
Anyways, so holy crap, this is a movie.
Yeah.
It's a second.
Wow,
of
it
what
Some
is
would
a
call it
movie.
that, yeah.
It's a completed film.
What does that mean, Tom?
So that means at
Oh
the
my
end
God.
of this episode, we're going to
Guess that
grump.
Dun, 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 dun.
I won't
Not
participate.
my diagnosis.
Nice.
What is
Da,
that?
da, da, da.
Really? Quoting
was-
the movie? Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, it's good.
So I said that wrong. It's not at the end of the episode we're going to guess the grump, but we're going to reveal who is the grump. And the grump is actually determined by a rating that we all give by 1 out of 5. 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. And whoever's the lowest in the team is the grump of the episode. Since we're doing this anniversary event, it won't be a grump of the week, but just for the episode.
Oh my
We
lord.
encourage everyone at home to play along. Send us who you think would be the grump and also the numbers that you had for the film. Dude, if I get so good at this, I'm just
Yeah.
going to do it without...
Don't worry, your podcast is not set to like
I would
1.5
love
speed.
if you
Just,
didn't do that.
I would love
I
if
would
it didn't
love
happen.
This could be
It's a
someone's
lot.
first episode.
Nah.
They need to hear the rules.
And then a lot of people put it on 1.5 anyways. So...
Not true.
Since I never explain it and I've never been able to memorize it, and I'm
Wow.
going to say it at this cadence now, I am going to guess the grump of the episode because I go first now is Caitlin.
Again?
Yeah, I was right last time. Spoilers.
It's true.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Caitlin.
After the gosh. Corey.
Okay.
Oh no, I picked Josh. I picked Josh.
Nope, I already
No.
wrote it
No, I
down.
picked Josh.
I already wrote it down.
Oh.
Harambe. I mean,
No take backs.
actual vote.
All right. No, seriously, Josh. You want to do Josh instead?
I do actually.
Well, then
Josh.
I really do think it will be Caitlin.
Ali?
This is hard.
That's what she said.
Don't talk about what's in my pants.
Ah.
What's
The
in
joke.
okay,
Thank you.
yeah, that works.
Hard legs.
I'm gonna venture a guess and go
You said Tom last time you were wrong.
Corey.
2 on Corey, 2 on Caitlin.
Yeah.
We're talking like a difference of like 1 decimal point though
I don't know.
between us.
Uh,
It could be.
Caitlin.
That's a
Down
big
to
assumption.
So
One
3 on
decimal
Caitlin,
point.
2 on Corey. None
No,
on.
1 on me. Right? Yeah. 1 on Josh, 1 on Corey,
Oh.
3 on Caitlin. And
Because she
what's
changed her
Patreon
vote.
say?
Patreon says Josh.
Ah.
Interesting.
So first it'll be Ali, Tom, then me, then Josh, then Caitlin.
Cool.
Okay.
All
right.
So yeah, since we got that out of the way, we'll go to the
Complete spoiler of that, which is our first impressions and initial reactions. So
I'll go first.
Go
I don't
ahead.
mind. I'm going to be real. When I first saw this movie,
Hated it.
I had a lot of qualms with it.
Interesting.
I had a lot of qualms, but as I said in the first part of this, they were past qualms,
Quelled.
quelled.
Quelled Qualms?
Quelled
They
qualms.
are quelled qualms, and we can discuss those later. But yeah, my initial reaction was not a positive one. There were things that I really, really loved about this movie.
Mhm.
Heath Ledger as the Joker was
One of them.
something that I walked out of the movie, and still to this day that I go, holy shit, that was incredible. Like, holy shit. And you know, what's funny about this specific movie, because if we think about Batfleck and then the recent Rob Pattinson,
Yep.
when it was announced that Heath Ledger was going to be the Joker, I mean, this is pre when Twitter was big.
Mhm.
The internet still lost its mind,
Mm-hmm.
but I will throw myself under the bus, and I was kind of like, okay, all right, I liked Brokeback Mountain. I was like, he's a good actor, so I'm interested.
Mhm.
And I
We
was
all-
I'll,
Brokeback
I'll
Mountain.
throw myself more under the bus than you just did.
yeah.
I was totally in the camp of like, this doesn't seem like good casting to me.
Yeah. And this is a time
Uh,
before comic book movies were a thing. This is before like we had the luxuries we have now, which is like who gets to be it. It's just like this is the first Batman we've seen since the Schumacher movies.
Yeah.
And like
First
who
Joker
knows
we've
when
seen
I mean,
since Jack Nicholson.
yeah, and
technically,
who knows when the next one's gonna be.
we had seen like 2 X-Men movies. We'd seen 2 Spider-Man
movies.
films. We'd seen
That's true.
Incredible Hulk, and we had seen Daredevil,
Before, like-
Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
Before the MCU, that's what you want to say. Just say before the
yeah,
MCU.
well, before it like took over Hollywood,
Yeah.
basically is what I mean.
Well, before
But,
it
like-
became like a headline.
Yeah.
yeah, before
Yeah.
they were a straight thing.
But I was, you know, because I had grown up watching 10 Things I Hate About You and Knight's Tale. So
Yeah.
those were my references I had for him
Mhm.
as an actor.
Yeah.
So to see him take on the Joker, I was like, how the hell is he gonna?
Be
Yeah.
the Joker.
So I was definitely in the camp of people like, if you had asked me before the movie came out, before the trailers came out, obviously,
Mhm.
what do I think? I mean, like, I don't think he can pull it off, like 100%. And that was a big lesson I learned from this movie is to like, when Ben Affleck was announced and the internet lost its mind, I'm now one of those people who goes, I guess we'll just see when we see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until then, I'm gonna have my faith that they know what they're doing.
And then also the Aaron Eckhart,
Oh.
I love him. And so
But you
finding-
Thank you for smoking.
yeah.
But you
Um,
but you
mhm.
love Tommy Lee Jones better.
no, I was
His
really
take on the
excited.
Joker was interesting.
Tommy Lee, Two-Face is probably one of my favorite Batman villains.
Billy Dee
Really?
Williams.
So getting the opportunity to see him in this movie, in the Nolan verse of Batman, I was like,
Mhm.
oh, I am there for that. So
Yeah.
yeah, I had some, they were qualms, not anymore. We'll talk
Mhm.
about them later.
For me, shout out to
The night.
yeah, the night. But also to my boys, Gabe and Ian and Charlie, that we all watched this movie the night before. I had planned to watch this like 7 times in one day. And then shout out to my boy Curtis, who stayed with me and watched it 7 times with me because I planned to watch it with like 7 groups of people.
Oh
they were like,
my
I want to
God.
watch
In
it
the
with
theater?
you. Yeah.
Okay.
Same Regency, Natomas Theater, baby. All
They
you
made a
Sacktown
lot
people.
of money that day.
Fuck yeah, they did. And I fucking wasted a lot of money that day just waiting for each movie to be done. Like, because it would
Wow.
it would be sporadic. It'd be like the 9 a.m. showing, the 12 a.m. showing. That's all. But so going about that, I did like this discussion about like casting. At this point in my, again, I'm a little younger than y'all, but like casting didn't mean anything to me. Like that was just out of the scope. Like Christian Bale was an unknown for me. Like I was like, who's this guy?
okay.
And that's like part of the reason why like I liked Batman Begins so much more afterwards, because I got over the fact that like it's not Val Kilmer, it's not George Clooney. It doesn't have to be a superstar to be the main hero. And it wasn't going for star power, it was going for acting talents. And for me, I had no eye for that yet. I had no eye for like, this is a vetted actor. This is this is a method actor. This is a mega star. You know, I was just like, I don't know, some blonde dude's gonna be Joker. And I was like, that was it. And I was like, because I mean, like Katie Holmes was like Dawson's Creek. And then it's like, she's the lead actor. And I was like, oh, she's not a thing. Aaron Eckhart's like, I've never watched Thank You for Smoking because
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
well, Katie Holmes at
Yeah.
first and then Maggie Gyllenhaal later on. And I was like, oh, the girl from Donnie Darko, that's weird. Okay, whatever. But it was like, and then like Aaron Eckhart was like, I don't think no one around me wanted to watch Thank You for Smoking. And so I
Yeah.
was like, I have no clue for this guy, but I was like, whatever, I'm done with it.
Hmm.
Like Morgan Freeman's Morgan Freeman. Like it's not even
Michael Caine's Michael Caine.
Michael Caine was
Yeah.
barely. He was Miss Congeniality to me. That was him for me, and so I was like,
Yes.
But I always thought it should be John Cleese.
Okay.
Should have been Alfred for me for the longest time. But like,
Whoa.
I love Michael Caine as this. But like going into Dark Knight, like I remember going in, and then people who sat next to me was like, is this how it is the entire movie? I was like, yes. And it was like the bank heist. And it was like, bum, 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 bum. And I was just like, this is fucking intense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like I had the luxury of like being the front row seat people, being the back row, being the middle. So I like
Getting
saw
to
it
see all
every fucking
perspectives.
perspective.
Wow.
And it was great. It was wonderful. And I loved it because I think I just loved the power that every performance held. And I loved that every single like as every person who's ever portrayed Batman will probably say, the Joker is like our modern time Hamlet. And everyone wants to have their own portrayal of it.
Mhm.
And seeing that this was kind of taken for every character at such gravity of like, everyone is so serious about their fucking roles. And it's like their characters that they provide. I'm just like, this is a world that you get fully like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Like there's hardly ever this sense of like, welcome to this world of X, Y, and Z. It's like, no, we're here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
You in it.
yeah. And
It's moving right from the beginning.
I loved it. And I do love the fact that I remember watching it for the first time and I was like, oh, okay. And that's well, never mind. There's more movie.
This is happening.
Like after Harvey Dent, spoilers, after Harvey Dent gets burnt, and I was just like, oh man, this is gonna be a shitty ending. Like I'm down. Empire Strikes Back, and then I was like, the next day I was like, oh, there's more movie,
Yeah.
and then I was like, oh, they captured Joker. Okay, the movie's done. Oh, they're going to go capture Chief. Oh, there's more movie.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, this is crazy. It was fucking insane.
What? There's more?
Yeah, I was so like, oh my god, there's so much movie. There's
Yeah.
so much
It's like
fucking
the last
movie.
Lord of the Rings movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's not 6 different endings.
No. It's just there's more.
But there's not 6 endings.
Fair.
Oh my God! Don't take it so fucking literally, Tom. Continue with your
So
initial
hurt.
reaction.
So this one had 3 endings. Okay, but no, I liked it. I liked it. Moving
You
on.
like the movie?
I think I liked the film.
Okay.
Feel
All right.
As Nolan would prefer.
When I saw this movie for the first time, it definitely hit one of those good chords where you're like, yes,
That's yummy.
that's yummy. But I was also very uncomfortable at the same time.
Good.
Dent
This
made
is
me
yummy.
yummy and confused. It's one of those weird boner moments.
Was his jowliness?
No, actually, it was Dent being able to be corruptible, like how easily it was
Oh,
for
yeah.
him to be corrupted. I was like,
When he
I
was
had-
that
I had
shining
s-
star.
I had seen that in a lot of, kind of sort of done in other movies and shows and whatever. But this was the first time where I was like, yeah, normal people can be pretty terrifying, especially the ones that are held in a really high regard
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
and are supposed to be that, like, that beacon of hope and
Hell
light.
yeah.
They can be torn down very easily.
All
They
it
got
takes
the
is
oldest
one bad
bosses,
day.
yeah.
Yeah, and it was
And
just
Killing
it was the
Joke.
best representation I'd seen of that to date.
Mhm.
Nice.
So I really liked it, and also Joker.
Yeah.
Not that I like, there's a weird infatuation with like Joker, Harley, and a lot of people want to be with Joker.
I don't subscribe to that. I
No,
know
no,
there's
no,
a lot
no,
of people
no.
who do that, but I get that. I like this Joker, but
I
not
like
the,
this Joker, but not in like a
not the
let's be
abusive
together. I want to
relationship
be with
thing.
Joker kind of way.
He's
It's like
fascinating to watch.
no, he's fascinating to watch because he is like the outcast of society who is
anarchist.
and far more intelligent. Like
He
he's
has a plan.
insanely
Yeah.
intelligent and not just insane.
Oh yeah.
And that is amazing because most of the time when people are crazy, they're like, he doesn't wear shoes and he wears a straight
Well, there's that
jacket and he
line-
throws
there's
stuff
that-
at people.
I'm pretty
that
sure
line,
Ollie's not wearing shoes right now.
Ollie.
There's that line in the scene where you first see Joker where I think he calls him crazy and he goes, "No, I'm not.
Not.
No, I'm not." And you can just tell that there's
As
like some baggage to it.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Everything about him is so
Like he's probably
specific.
been called that a bunch.
Mhm.
That's that. Even though I haven't seen that movie in years, it was like I had watched it yesterday because of how.
You just watched it a few
Much-
hours ago.
Okay, all right, but it was my brain was so attached to so many of the concepts in that movie that it was easy for my brain to pull it and be like, oh, yep, here we are again. Yep, there it is, and I still love it just as much. I still love it just as much as when I saw it the first time.
Bali.
I love the movie.
For me, this was coming off of
Here it comes.
a great movie, Batman Begins, but at the time, even up until before The Dark Knight, I didn't regard it as like one of the greatest movies of all
Cornerstone films.
time. For Batman, speaking about Batman Begins, being like, okay, it
Yeah,
was
I
a
know,
really
yeah.
great Batman movie. Going into Dark Knight, super excited. Like,
Can I ask you a quick question?
yeah.
Because we give you shit all the time
Yeah.
like, about Batman. Were you as big of a Batman fan at that time, or did
I
this
was.
spark that?
No, I absolutely was when I was I grew up with Batman, so I had nothing but Batman action figures, tons of them, toys, animated series. Grew up on that. Batman versus Superman, or Batman and Superman
That's a Zack
Adventures.
Snyder film.
No. Yeah, the second series, that one too.
That's the New Adventures of Batman and Robin.
No, the one with Superman, where it was like every other episode was like a Superman or a Batman.
That wasn't a thing. They would just show Batman episodes and Superman episodes.
Yeah, whatever that was.
It was probably like the hour block. They would do the 4 to 5 o'clock hour of like
Okay.
first of Batman, then
Well, then
Superman.
Then animated
They had
series,
some
regardless.
crossover here and there.
And yeah, grew up on the Schumacher, the Burton movies. Loved those. Loved the Schumacher movies at the time because I was a kid when I was watching them.
Baby.
Oh, that scared the shit out of me.
I could beg you to a kiss from a rose on the
Sorry.
street.
Was not
I had
into the
that
Seal
fight or
soundtrack
flight
when I was a kid.
reaction for real. That was terrifying. Sorry, Ollie, go.
And then, so yeah, always been a Batman fan. He's always been my number one favorite, like superhero character, comic character. But for this one, it was just incredible filmmaking. So that was the thing that really brought me in and made me really enjoy my time in the theater, was just what I consider as masterful filmmaking for this movie, in the sense that there's nothing but, it was absolutely. And I can say this without hyperbole and not brag about it later on again and again. But this was absolutely my favorite movie going experience of my life, was seeing this movie for the first time in theaters.
Wow.
And it was just constant suspense. The soundtrack hits you and keeps you and holds on. And then it just...
Baby!
Seal comes in out of nowhere.
You hate me.
I saw you gearing up, and then I thought you were going to not do it. And then you did.
Now that
I was trying to catch Tom's eye, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for
Yeah.
it.
It's too easy to scare me, guys. It's not fair.
All right. Sorry.
But just an incredible
The soundtrack
story.
from Dirty Laundry.
The soundtrack from the composer,
Hans Zimmer
From
Hans
the
Zimmer.
composer of Dirty Laundry.
and James
God.
James Howard Newart.
We'll get through.
Newton
Hey,
Howard.
you know. So yeah, that was my experience going in. Was just being on the edge of my seat the entire time. Like, just every bit of Joker, I just ate up every little
More,
bit of
more.
Yeah, I just couldn't get enough Joker. The Batman tech, his new suit. I mean, that's all up in my alley right
you
there.
could fucking
that
turn
scene.
his head for the first goddamn time.
Makes getting out
And
of the
just
driveway
the-
easier.
Like, I was talking about this with my brother the other day because he was just watching it and I was actually watching it too.
Shout out.
And shout out to John.
Shout out, Sean.
I feel like
Sean, shut up.
almost like 90% of the lines in this movie are
Quotable.
quotable, and
Oh,
it's
yeah.
it's fun to quote
It
them.
was
And
a
it's
big
like
dog.
it's a really big dog, and it's like it's just
Like
everything, because
Clyde, though.
everything is just delivered with such like pizzazz, purpose, and it's just like it's situational and it's real and it's funny and
It's a lot of those little,
'Cause you're
there's
in
no
this-
little
unnecessary lines.
moments.
there's
There's
no
no
unnecessary,
unnecessary lines.
Yeah, everything is so
Kind of.
written right. You know, for the most part,
From the leads.
90%.
And now those are some good lines.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that was kind of my, and of course I walked out and I was in love,
Yeah.
my first true love, and then
Batman?
You were like
Batman.
Bruce Wayne staring at Harvey Dent across the dinner table. You're like,
Hell
"Oh."
yeah. Hell yeah.
realizing that is this my favorite movie of all time? This is like slow
Did
realization
I just see
starting
my
to build.
first my
Which for the
favorite
record,
movie?
for the record,
You got-
I
you
mean,
got there.
it's no secret to those who watch the show. But if you are new, this is my favorite movie of all time. I'm not going to even try to hide that.
That's why we all voted
If
for
you-
Ollie as the grump.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah.
wait. No, we didn't.
Oh, yeah, no.
I don't even think the patrons did.
So that's
No.
me.
I don't think so.
That's my Dark Knight story.
Corey?
I'll go. Yeah.
the last
So,
one.
like I said, I was in the camp of not believing that Heath Ledger could pull it off. And then the trailer dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, this is going to be the greatest fucking movie of all time. So I got a group, shout out to my buddy Nate. And I went and saw this in IMAX because
Whoa.
I had heard that, I'm going to shoot these the scenes in IMAX. And I was like, well, then I want to see this the best way I possibly can. So we got a group of us to go to an IMAX theater, opening night, midnight showing, the whole 9 yards. And I think there's maybe been 3 other times in my life that I've walked out of a movie theater that affected by a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And that affected by a performance as well. With that, I would say there's a reason this tops so many people's list as the greatest superhero film of all time, but also probably one of the
greatest
best films of my generation.
Just films, yeah.
At least.
Mhm.
It's beautifully done. It's grounded. Like, not only are you treating, I say this a lot in these episodes, but you're treating every character with a high level of respect
Mhm.
in the
And
writing.
intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. They're not finding easy way out of things. They're not
Idiots.
Right. But they're also shot. There are so many. You could have posters of everything from this movie, and
Yeah.
it would look like someone took this photo on set as a portrait. You're like, no, that's just one of the scenes from the film.
Mhm.
That's fine. Every shot is gorgeous. Nolan and
Fister.
Fisker are really good at making sure that the shots convey an emotion. Even without the sound on, I can know
Mhm.
exactly what
And I
you're
think-
supposed to feel in that.
And
that
like
scene.
there's a compared to Batman Begins, I don't know if you would agree, but there's a much larger sense of scale as far as like
Yeah.
the size of the city, the world.
Well, they had a budget. They were
yeah,
like,
Well, they had a
right.
budget, and it's such an interesting decision to say, you know what, let's just shoot Chicago
Yeah.
as the city. I mean, there's still some composite work. There's like some New York buildings
Of
you can
course.
recognize, but like
I mean, I think
it works.
It touches more to Nolan's background and heritage of like being born and raised in Chicago, and so,
Yeah.
like not born and raised in Chicago. He was born across the.
Well, it's like
continent.
the thing I also like about it is it raises a lot of socio-political questions, and it's a higher ideology than the first film as well, and it's asking bigger and harder questions.
Right.
As
That's never
far
been
as,
addressed on screen.
Right. Well, in this, like in
At
the
least in
last
film.
film, it was all fear, and you're learning who Batman
Right.
is. But this is really learning about the social climate and economical climate of this one city and
The question-
people within it, and like
And-
how there are different economical tiers within the city and what that means.
Well,
and
I like the question that Joker begs, and his force. He's the I don't know. He's the unstoppable force or the unmovable object, right? And it's the question of, if you can destroy innocence, then there is no innocence.
yeah.
If you can disrupt order with chaos, then there is no such thing as order.
Right.
It's all the illusion.
It's
of
that, and it's the whole. He has that whole scene with, and we'll
It's the
get deeper into this obviously, but his whole scene with
Harvey.
like where he's asking, it's all part of the plan. Like it's such a. I remember seeing that for the first time, and it cut deep.
It's
like
too real.
being like, if a gangbanger or a group of troops blows up, you never hear about it. But
No.
I say one mayor is going to die, and everyone loses their mind
Yeah.
because it's not part of the plan, and it's
This is
kind of
what
this
we expect
weird.
versus what we don't expect.
Right. It's this weird kind of like, well, why do you value this life over the other? Oh,
Right.
because society says we should.
But also
Because it's not supposed to happen.
how anarchy is fair.
Yeah. Yeah. So just to touch on that, and we'll touch on, like, obviously this is going to be a lot of talks about Heath Ledger and his performance in this.
Yep.
But I definitely haven't seen a performance like this since this film where
Mm-mm.
totally every time I watch this I forget it's Heath Ledger.
just a complete transformation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a, because I grew up with Hamill as Joker.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up obviously with Jack Nicholson watching that movie as well. And it's such a unique and beautiful take on it. And knowing that he came up with the makeup himself.
He Nolan let him use it. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously they had makeup artists do it afterwards for timing and stuff like that. But the idea to have the paint on his hands was his idea, and everything they bought for his makeup, he bought from CVS for like $6, $7 or something like that.
Because they're cheap.
And little things he put into the character, like learning that the reason he licked his lips is because the scars went over the lip and it would kind of peel up during the day. So he would lick it to keep it down.
But
And
that
then
became a character
it
piece.
just became a character piece because it I don't know. There's a lot to that character, little idiosyncrasies that are really, really brilliant and really, I think, push Bale as well. Like you can't have this good of a Joker without a good Batman also. And they really, this is the last thing I'll say and we'll move on, but Bale,
Please.
especially in the in the interrogation scene, is doing such a beautiful job of giving the scene to
Being generous.
Ledger.
Yeah.
And really having that trust, I think is really cool.
I think it also speaks to tell the tale of like the hero is only as great as his challenge. And if the challenge isn't great, then the hero isn't great.
Yep.
And so there's
and I mean that's the difference between these movies and the any other representation on screen is like it's not just villains to have villains in the movie, to jam pack as many movie villains as you can, like some other movies do. Spider-Man.
Wow.
But
Say
they're
that to every Marvel
using
movie
the
that has two
villains.
Yeah.
They're using the villains to define the theme of the entire movie,
Right.
and like exploring those topics. And that's why it fits so well, is because, yeah, of course, the villain is going to be the ultimate representation of this idea, but you're also seeding this idea throughout the rest of the story, and you're kind of preparing us to understand what's at stake. So when that happens, it has a greater impact.
And I like I've said, these films actually tried to say something.
Yeah.
They're not
Exactly,
just
right.
Batman.
here's a movie and here's a narrative and this is
Yeah.
why you shouldn't like bad people.
Yeah.
This is like, this is like asking you to engage with it and have those conversations.
Yeah.
But let's move on to the next part, which is our meat and potatoes, brief synopsis, and our production.
Brief synopsis.
So your brief synopsis, Corey.
So we open on a bank heist. There's a group of clown bank robbers who are robbing a mob bank. Each one of them kills the other to split the share. They're hired by someone named Joker. It gets down to the last guy. Once a bus pulls through the bank, he shoots him. The guy who's in charge of the bank, I would assume is the bank manager, mob bank manager.
William Fitchner.
Shout out, who I love.
Colonel Willie Sharp.
He he says, you don't know who you're messing with. You know, this guy who hired you, he doesn't believe it. You know, criminals used to believe in something, honor, reputation. What do you believe in? And we get the famous line, I simply believe whatever doesn't kill you makes you stranger. And it is the Joker. He was in the ground level doing the work with these guys. Bus pulls out into another row of buses. Little they know that the Gordon is trying to track these robberies and track these mob boss.
Banks.
Banks, thank you. I don't know why I couldn't think of the word. I was thinking finances, but fast forward a little bit. Batman's doing his thing. There's been some copycats that have been roaming around.
Inspired.
One of the guys goes to do, one of the criminals who works for technically the Falcone family, who's run by Maroni now, goes to do a deal with Crane, and he says, your drugs are driving my people crazy. And he's like, hey, it doesn't matter. My drugs, if the guys can't handle it. And then these fake Batman come to stop the drug bust, right? And Crane obviously knows right off the bat they have guns. It's not Batman.
Yeah.
Then the tumbler jumps through, right? He goes, that's a little more like it. So Batman stops this. We have our famous line that I love to say, not my diagnosis.
Yep, I did.
And we
You son of a.
That's why that's why he broke me that one episode, was that I was
That
expecting
line.
him to say
Yeah.
hard
I
pass, and
actually, I was like, he's gonna
See?
do it. Oh,
it's my favorite one too. No, but what he really says is anyway. So
Bruce Wayne
ensues, gets everyone away,
He's
and he's
so-
going back and he's stitching himself up, and Alfred comes in and helps him because Alfred is a medic.
We're in a bunker now.
Yeah, because the house had burned down in the last one. So he says, you can swap another one of my favorite lines. You could swap not sleeping in a penthouse for not sleeping in a mansion once it's rebuilt. And he's saying, he's giving him this speech about how Bruce needs to find his limits, and Batman's like, Batman has no limits.
Just like
but
that.
you do, sir. I can't afford to know him. So they fast forward to, we have a meeting with all the mob bosses, a little group therapy session, and we meet the Joker. And he basically says, what we need to do is kill the Batman. because otherwise he's changing the city. No, that's why you meet in daylight. You don't go at night. All that kind of thing. And so Lau, who was meeting with Batman, who is trying to be in charge of all their finances, goes to China to try to get away. But you know what? Batman doesn't have jurisdiction. He's gonna find him. And what does Batman do? Finds him, brings him back. So they're like, you know what? Joker's right. We should go with Joker. But little they know, we got a white knight in the city. We have Mr. Harvey Dent. And Mr. Harvey Dent is able, once Lau is brought back by Batman, to convict all of them at once. And of course,
Rico.
the higher level people get out, but the mid-level, low people, they stay
They
in.
can't make bail.
500 people.
Yeah, all at
incarcerated.
once.
18 months
a
of
lot.
clean streets.
So they hire Joker because they're like, this is fucking crazy. You're right. Batman has no jurisdiction. So Batman is forced with a kind of decision. Joker says, I'm going to kill someone every day you don't reveal yourself and who you are. And of course, everyone around him who knows that he's Batman says, you can't. Even Harvey Dent, who doesn't know who he is like, you can't do it.
Don't come in.
And he's a man of his
you can't come in.
word.
So the Joker starts targeting people, specific people, including the commissioner, a judge, and
Harvey
Rachel.
Dent.
Rachel eventually. So the commissioner dies in front of Jim Gordon. And they're trying to kill the mayor. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cirillo.
Trying to kill the mayor. And Gordon jumps in front of a bullet.
Oh, it's Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Specifically the third
Right,
person.
right.
He just does it in person.
He doesn't get him. And then he goes, you'll find Harvey Dent this place. Then they name the mayor him. And then they shoot Gordon
That's right.
instead. And then they find out that Rachel Dawes is the next one.
Yeah. So he gets, he turns himself in. He says, I'm the Batman,
Mhm.
even though Bruce Wayne was going to.
Yeah.
Car chase ensues.
Mhm.
Helicopter crashes ensue.
Oh, that's
and-
not good.
Okay, we'll get to that. And, Batman saves the day.
Yeah.
And eventually Joker gets caught because Jim Gordon is alive, miraculously. So they put, Harvey Dent into a police car and they say, they get Rachel in a police car, all that kind of stuff. And so then the interrogation scene happens. Probably one of the most famous scenes of the entire movie. And he says, you got to play my game. You're going to have to break your one rule. Harvey Dent's here. Rachel is here. So he goes, I'm going after Rachel.
Mhm.
But really, Joker switches
them.
the addresses. So he's there to save Harvey Dent. Harvey Dent gets some gasoline on him. And right when they get to Rachel, everything
Boom, boom.
explodes.
Too late.
So
Boom,
Rachel's
boom,
dead.
boom.
Harvey's terribly disfigured. Fast forward, obviously, Rachel was mad, left this letter saying, I'm choosing Harvey, that kind of thing. But when we
Reese.
get to Bruce after Rachel dies, he's like, he believes that they had a future together.
Well, she was kissing up on everybody.
Alfred,
That's why.
I
Alfred takes
know.
this letter and goes, it can wait. So next thing we know, Joker is visiting Harvey Dent in the hospital. He basically convinces him to be an agent of chaos, and he becomes Two-Face.
After he burns Lau alive on a
Say it!
pile of
Yeah.
money.
And then Mr. Reese is trying to expose him because he does their books, and he's like, oh, first he tries to do it to Lucius, and Lucius is like, you really want to do the guy who's going around beating people to a pulp with his bare fists? You go right ahead.
Mhm.
But then Joker has a change of heart, and he says, you know what? I will give, 10 million to
No,
whoever-
if he doesn't kill
if he doesn't
anyone
kill everyone, he will blow up
up a-
hospitals.
in an hour.
And there's a
Even-
lot of people in
Yeah.
the police department who have family in those hospitals. So they're trying
Berg
to keep this
Ramirez.
guy alive, including what's his name in the
Berg.
Berg in the
Berg.
van. He's got the shotgun. Batman saves it, or not Batman. Bruce Wayne saves the day.
Actually,
Mr. Reese
by
feels like a
trying to
piece of
run a light.
shit.
Murcielago saves the day.
Murcielago saves the day. And then you have that moment between Reese and Wayne, which I fucking
Yep.
love.
The look.
Fast forward some more chaos ensues. Two-Face is going around killing all the people who are responsible for making sure whatever happened to Rachel happened, including like Maroney for releasing, or technically Maroney's driver for releasing.
Joker took a bus of doctors
yeah,
and nurses.
They take a bus of doctor and nurses, and eventually, next thing leads to another. He's got two ships that are trying to escape the city. One of them filled with prisoners, one of them filled with citizens.
because no one's participating in the game.
Yeah. So he says, you know what? If you both have triggers on the ship to the other boat. If you guys don't blow each other up in 15 minutes, I'm going to blow both boats.
Prisoner dilemma.
Yeah. So go ahead. Meanwhile, Batman finds using a means that Lucius isn't too great with and too cool with to
Mhm,
find Joker,
mhm.
triangulates his position and infiltrates this building where the clowns are the hostages and the doctors are the criminals. Very confusing. So basically, he's fighting SWAT teams and what look like hostages. So people think Batman's gone crazy.
Yeah.
Finally fights the Joker, ties him up. Probably one of my favorite speeches in any superhero film ever by the Joker. And then he goes, "You got to find Dent. He's my ace in the hole. You know, I didn't think I would in a fist fight for Gotham's soul with you." So
Madness is like gravity.
he finds out that Dent has Gordon and Gordon's family. He's got a gun to his kid's head because he's like, "I want you to lie to your son like I had to lie to Rachel." He's flipping his coin, right? Batman shows up and he's like, "Just do the people who are responsible." He's like, "All right." Flips a coin, shoots Batman, does it to himself, flips a coin, lives. And as he's about to flip a coin to shoot Gordon's son, he tackles him, killing Dent in the fall, saving the son, and then he falls, gets injured. Gordon rushes down, and he was like, once they find out that he became this, everyone he ever locked up is going to get released. No one's ever going to believe in anything. And Batman says, "I can be the things. Tell him I killed the people."
Cannot win.
So basically, he takes on the burden of everything Harvey Dent did, all the people he killed, all the people, that kind
All
of stuff.
he done did.
So that he can be remembered as Harvey Dent, and the Dent Act can be passed, and all that kind of stuff. So he becomes
The Dark Knight.
the Dark Knight.
Done. Done. Okay.
Dun 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 dun.
That was the
dun,
best I could do with still hitting major plot points.
That's
That
good.
was,
That was
that was
good.
like a minute and a
It's
half.
better than me.
Da-da-da.
Caitlin, production.
Next up is production. It was distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. The director is Christopher Nolan, who did Doodlebug, Following, Interstellar, and The Prestige.
Nice.
The producers are Emma Thomas, which is Christopher Nolan's wife. She was on all the Chris Nolan films. Then there's Charles Roven, who did Triple Frontier, Dirty John, and Fallen. Then there was also Lauren Orleans, who did Spider-Man 2, The Watchmen, and Apollo 13. On the writing side of things, it's based on characters created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger. The story was written by David S. Goyer, and the screenplay was done by Christopher and Jonathan Nolan, who's also known for The Prestige, Westworld, and Interstellar. The cast is Christian Bale, who's known from Vice, American Hustle, Hostiles, The Promise, Michael Caine from Last Love, Kingsman, Now You See Me, Harry Brown. Sorry, I just got really excited about
Now
Kingsman.
you see me.
Gary Oldman from The Professional Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Harry Potter. Heath Ledger.
The
Save it.
next
I
one.
love seeing the
sorry.
polls.
I'm sorry, I really love Harry Potter a lot. Heath Ledger from Knight's Tale, 10 Things I Hate About You, Brokeback Mountain. Aaron Eckert from No Reservations, White House Down, Battle, Los Angeles, Thank You for Smoking. Maggie Gyllenhaal from Donnie Darko, Frank, and Crazy Heart. Morgan Freeman from Invictus, $1 Million Baby, Driving Miss Daisy.
And Now You See Me.
And Now You See Me. Cillian Murphy from Dunkirk, Transcendence, and Tron Legacy. Anthony Michael Hall from Breakfast Club and Tron Legacy.
No, Dead
No,
Zone.
Dead Zone.
Dead Zone.
Not Tron Legacy.
Sorry,
Not
my
Tron
numbers.
Legacy.
Dead Zone. Breakfast Club and Dead Zone. Eric Roberts from Grey's Anatomy, Runaway Train, Head Full of Honey, and Chin Han from Skyscraper, Contagion, and Marco Polo.
Good
can also-
calculation.
You can also see all those actors in The Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding.
Very good.
Surprising. The release date was July 18th, 2008. The runtime is 152 minutes. The budget was 185 million, and it grossed 1.005 billion. The Rotten Tomato score was an even on both sides, 94% for critics and audience.
Lies.
Should
Yeah.
be way higher.
Yeah. Feels that way. Ooh.
So yeah, it brings us to a little discussion, little favorite parts, and all that good stuff. One thing I do want to say is that like we talked about like how this film begs the questions, the deeper questions, the higher questions. It was highly reflective of the time, and I didn't really. Again, I was still like young, and now I'm an adult, and I get to see like politics and like what films are talking about now. Like if something has to do with like cops shooting black people and black people shooting cops, like I know that's talking about something in reality. Like I know what the conversation is going to be about.
Yeah.
In this one here, the thing that quote unquote Lucius Fox is not okay with is the heavy surveillance needed in the third act, which
Yeah.
would have been great for if they need to find a citizen with a bomb.
Something along the lines of the Patriot Act.
Yeah, which is a Patriot Act, which I was not highly aware of. That was the thing at the time,
Mhm.
and it was funny because even at that time I was in ROTC, right?
Oh yeah.
But even then, I was just like a high school kid, and I was super deaf and blind to like seeing what was happening into the world, or just ignorant to it. And I didn't have any sensibilities around it. But like seeing that was like his commentary and how it's seen as non-civil. It's too powerful for people to be controlling. It's an unjust weapon. I thought that was like really crazy. That again, it's a superhero movie that's trying just to be more than just a superhero movie. It's trying to have a
It's a
conversation.
movie with superheroes in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the fact that the entire opening sequence with Heat is a Jokerized version of
Heath.
Heath. I was gonna say it is a Jokerized version of the bank robbery in
And
Heat.
Yeah.
With
Oh.
Val Kilmer, who was also Batman.
Yeah.
Al Pacino, who is actually Batman. Just kidding.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, we have
Pacino.
the comic in front of us, Batman: The Long Halloween, which is actually was the main inspiration for The Dark Knight, and it actually details some of the things I talked about since some of our listeners haven't read it yet. But
Check it
let's
out on
just say
Comixology.
Carmine Falcone's in there, Selena Kyle's in there, Two-Face is in there, but that's all I'll say. And it is an origin of some sorts, but it is a book that takes course over years.
Okay.
And they call it The Long Halloween, so it's really cool. But yeah, favorite part for moi, I would say, I gotta say it's when anytime Bruce Wayne's around Rachel, maybe, and it's the
Oh.
scene where Harvey Dent is pontificating about
There it is again.
about serving society.
It's
and
when Bruce Wayne falls in love
falls
with
in
him.
love with them.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you just get the shot of Christian Bale and this
Just being
camera just
like-
going in.
This is my out.
Well, yeah, it's the romanticizing of like there can be such thing as social order and that people should be at the mercy of their bettered angels, and like you can serve the greater good, and we should be. And
There are people in Gotham who share an ideal that I have,
and-
who
Yeah.
can do
And-
it
and
in
he's-
a way that follows within the guidelines.
And Batman's not a problem. He's a result. He's a side
Yeah.
effect of
Well, he's
why.
testing him too.
Yeah, well, he's vetting.
He
him.
literally
Yeah.
he literally says, "Who appointed the Batman?" That's his line.
Yeah.
And it's like waiting to see. It's like a prompt. It's like, what
Yeah.
is he going to say to that?
But yeah, like truly there, like White Knight in impression. It's like he believes in the good fight. So
yeah,
which is a cool thing because in Batman comic books they also thought for a while, or like the police thought that Harvey Dent was Batman
Mhm.
because they had
and
similar.
in the animated series, they even purposefully drew them as the same model. Him and Bruce Wayne
Yeah.
are basically drawn exactly the same.
Wow.
and they're close friends.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, I have a ton of favorite parts, but the entire first Joker scene
Ah, damn it.
is fucking
The meeting.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
from start to finish,
Like
you're
your
on the
therapy
edge
We'll
of
call
your
it the
seat.
magic trick scene.
The magic
Yeah, the
trick
magic
scene.
trick.
I remember seeing the magic trick in theaters. The entire audience had a gasp. They're like,
Yeah.
a lot of people. Are
Yeah.
like, that was so cool. That was fucking awesome. That was nuts.
shout out to
Um,
Michael J. White, Spawn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously, it's gamble.
That's true, that's
I mean, that's his first introduction to the character. I mean, you have the one line right in the bank heist, but this is our first full shot introduction.
The
What he
like
thinks, his
long
beliefs,
laugh.
just
to come in the room.
Thought my jokes were bad.
It's really great. He commands that scene from start to finish. I mean, talking about like even without saying words, he's like they'll get him to squeal, and I know squealers when I see him.
And he points at
All he
the-
says is and
He
and
points.
he just points, and then the guy turns off the TV.
Yeah.
I love it. I love that scene from start to finish is just fucking phenomenal. And even his bad jokes, let's not blow things out of proportion. And it's just like even the sticking to the bit of here's my card and just
Yeah.
putting a Joker
Putting it
card on the
there.
table and walking out.
You think you can steal from us and get away with it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
that's my favorite part of that.
There's
scene.
so many
Yeah.
deliveries that you're just like, yeah, just the way that he,
The suit wasn't cheap. You ought to know. You bought it.
yeah,
I mean,
So good.
Same for me. That was actually what I was gonna say is probably my favorite
Oh, yeah.
part. Just because Joker's confidence, commanding the scene, where just like he's not worried about anything, even if it actually did go south. He's not really worried.
He's
an
He's
agent
fine to
of
blow
chaos.
himself up.
That's why. I mean, that's why my like probably tied with that scene is the one with Harvey Dent is my second favorite scene.
Yeah,
Like he's
yeah.
Joker is totally willing to die to make
Mhm.
sure that Harvey Dent changes.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
he's willing.
He
He doesn't know
bring
that
him
Harvey
down.
Dent is gonna flip a coin to decide. He
Well,
just
no.
puts the gun to his head, kind of thing. What?
His hands on the hammer.
Yeah, but he's pretty ready to let it go to make sure that this guy sinks to the level he needs him to be at
Yeah.
to win. He needs to take down Harvey Dent to change everything.
Bring
And-
him down to the
And
level.
he also
yeah.
just changes his mind about whatever.
He's a dog
whenever
chasing
it's
cars.
yeah, he's a dog chasing
He
cars.
really is.
And everything about I think anytime Joker's on screen is the favorite part.
One thing I really liked is when he's out, his head's outside the police car.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
Just enjoying
It's
the like
a good
basking in
droning
it.
music in the background where you know, like, oh my god, he just won the day.
The thing I'm gonna kind of hop on the anytime Joker is on screen. The thing about this is that there was not a single moment that I didn't buy it.
Yeah.
Mm.
One of the first acting lessons that I was given was in terms of playing like a villain is that the villain they think that they're right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And you just see the dedication and you see that he just thinks that he's right.
Well, there's the part
in
where he
every
gets really
scene.
frustrated that no one's getting it. He's like, it's not
Yeah.
about money. It's about sending a
A
message.
message.
Like, why aren't fucking people getting this?
Everything
I've
burns.
done so much to prove to you that I'm right, and yet you still, let me do it myself.
Right.
I'm only burning my half.
Yeah.
Relax.
Like, it's brilliant. I mean, he kills. Wow.
Well, because he was gonna
Yeah.
no work for freak
Yeah.
like you.
I have two favorite
Cut you
parts
up in
that
bits and feed you to
stick
your
out more.
pooches.
Then we see how hungry a loyal dog really is. I
Yeah.
love that line. So I have two. One that's like of all time, and then there's one that is the interrogation scene.
Yes.
That is just intense. It's suspenseful. It's like, it's kind of frightening in a weird way.
Yeah.
And like,
It's totally frightening.
it pushes Batman to his limits.
Batman has no
of, like,
control in that scene.
no control. And like, it's hard because it's such a great, which I love the decision of making it more a Heath scene, but you still get to see the impact. But there's a couple shots where you can see Batman, he's like shaking.
Oh man,
like,
when he puts
when
the
he's,
chair
like-
under the
Wait, but he
door
puts the
and-
chair underneath. He's like punching Joker over and over again. He's saying, "You have nothing you can do with all your
strength.
While he's delivering that, I think like you can see Batman like shaking or like trying
Yeah.
to like, what can I do with my strength? Like nothing.
He's going against
'Cause
his
that's his-
values too. Like
right. It's like
of
I
what he
can't
thinks he-
beat this.
Right.
Literally. You know.
You know, I really like, and it's actually right before that in that scene is so right when they're sitting down, Batman's like pretty composed,
Mhm.
and the camera, dirties as much as he can with trying to do parallax or just cutting between the two, and it actually breaks the 180 degree. But when it does, it's because the Joker has now won the conversation.
Yeah.
But the thing that Joker does in his mark, on his positioning, is that he moves back and forth. And so the follow focus could only move so fast. And so it's actually super, super, super fraction of a second,
Out of
but
focus.
Joker is out of focus every once in a while.
Oh.
And it's because of those ideologies that Nolan wanted to have. He's like, I want my character out of focus. And once you start getting in focus, he's out of focus again.
Yeah.
but also I think either in that part or just before that part when he's talking to Gordon,
Mhm.
and it's basically it's just like they're almost floating heads.
Just
It's
the
just
silhouettes.
darkness and
Almost.
And
And
it subverts, like, you think that's how the entire scene's going to be.
yeah.
And then
it's
lights
there.
her up.
He's behind him. Beautiful shot.
I'm
Yeah.
not a monster. I'm just
well,
ahead of the curve.
The thing
Um,
about Joker that's so cool with Batman is that, and even when he's falling 30 stories off this sky, neither of them are afraid to die.
No.
And yet they both know they won't kill each other. So what really is there to be afraid of Batman? If you know his one rule is to not kill and you're not afraid of death, then like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Let's
Think-
do this.
I think
finish
they should be
your-
destined forever.
Yeah.
To finish your comparison, like I would say Joker is the unstoppable force and Batman is the immovable object, and this movie
Yeah,
is what
'cause
happens
his
when those two
standards.
meet.
Because Joker is trying to mow through the entire
Right.
city.
So what
and
happens when those
Batman's
two
trying
things
to be the
meet?
guardian of.
And I won't
more.
kill you because you're just too much fun.
My other
It's wonderful.
my other actual favorite part, and which is like the thing I think that kind of sealed the deal for me as far as this movie, and it is just the concept. I guess that scene at the very end scene of him like,
Mm.
I can be those things.
Yeah.
Like I can be the murderer. I can. He's saying like I can be the murderer.
Yeah.
I can be whatever Gotham needs me to be because that's the
Because
point.
Batman can endure.
Batman can
Could
endure.
be the right decision.
And
Endure.
just the fact of like that blew my mind. Just the concept of like, yeah, right now Batman needs to be the villain for the greater good of Gotham.
Yeah.
And to me, that was just such a like crazy, cool new concept for me that really kind of blew my mind at the time.
I really liked the first time Michael Caine saw Heath Ledger. which was
Oh.
the
It didn't
in
get
the
included
party.
in the shot though.
It's in the penthouse. So when the first time
It got
Joker
cut.
comes
There's a
in
little
and
bit of
shoots the thing, and so Michael Caine opens up the elevator and sees the Joker, and like Michael Caine like freaked out.
He was supposed to have a line.
But then he didn't say anything. But I like that scene. The parallax that happens between Heath Ledger and Maggie Gyllenhaal, and like talking about like the scars thing, and it's the second time we've heard this story now, and you're like,
change.
what is his origin? And to me, I always said like I don't need an origin for him,
No.
but we're getting it anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love that. And then I kind of just liked everything that happened before that point, because it's like you're now having Bruce Wayne who's endorsing this guy that is in love with the woman that he's in love with, and she's kind of in love with them, and now he just proposed to her and she won't give him an answer, and then he's like, hey, look, I'm trying. Like so many emotions are
Bruce
happening.
Wayne, isn't it?
And then he
What are
just
you
gets
doing?
choked out.
And then like also like Bruce Wayne just being a fucking big
Oh,
dick energy and just whooping that dude's ass, dismantling.
Oh,
and
thank
then
God
the
you have
fucking
a
guy-
safe room. Oh,
you gotta be
you gotta
kidding
be
me.
kidding.
And then you're gonna love me. It's like it's so good.
Yeah.
And also it's like drop the girl, and then it's like
Very poor choice of words.
Like all that's so I love that happening, and then like you remind me of my father. It's like oh fuck, he's got some
Hated
debt.
my father.
Like and those are the things where it's
Oh,
like
the way he takes the
Oh, yeah.
drink and he spills
Does
it
it-
first. And
well, it's
then-
like that gets paired up with when Bruce Wayne spilled at his drink,
Yeah.
because they're both on like perfectly like we have to be at our mental like
Yeah.
highest points in order
and he
to
just
like,
does it
fight
in a
each
very Joker way where he picks it up and
other. Yeah. Well,
It's
then
empty.
also you could think about it like when he takes the
The
olive.
food.
thing, he eats the
Shrimp and the
tomato.
tomato.
It doesn't eat the shrimp because he doesn't eat the decadence. He
Yeah.
only eats the farmer food
Right.
because he's like about that. You know, he's
Mhm.
not about the decadence and all that shit. So there's like a lot that goes into those kind of things where it's like, oh my god, you can just like he uses a sawed-off shotgun. He doesn't use anything else. He also uses like a modded gun. Which
He's got a knife boot.
Yeah. like, a
He's
thousand knives.
he's got a potato peeler. He's
Yeah.
got everything, really.
I love that. The guy's like, I don't know where to put this. Does
Yeah.
this go with knives or is this a new
Uh,
category?
here.
Or is this for lunch?
I did love the fact that the story of the tangerine, the size of a ruby of a tangerine, and how that ends up becoming in the
How did you
literal,
find him?
well, the literal, like the
We find
the
forest
concrete
then.
jungle
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Gotham, where it's like you have to destroy all of your morals in order to catch this one person who like doesn't abide by rules. And I remember in the viral marketing for this was like, "Welcome to a world without rules." And that was like the big thing. And it just showed Batman in front of like a tower, and it was like on fire. And it
Yeah.
was like in fire of like the bat symbol. And it's like, yeah, like I was like, this is pretty much it. Also, how have we not talked about when the Bat Pod came out?
Oh my god! Yeah, I was
have
gonna
it
say.
written. We
That's
just
true.
haven't gotten there yet.
Oh my god!
I
love
didn't get to
the-
finish my favorite
the
part.
tumble bike.
Somehow it
Listed.
got it went around the table.
when
Well, you
the
talked about
wheels
Joker, and
turn
then
over,
Caitlin-
it's
I
so
know.
cool.
I just have bat pod exclamation point written. Especially the way it goes up the wall, turns around, and comes
Up the
And
wall,
any-
and the
Finishing
cockpit turns
pose.
around.
Yeah, anytime the wheels spin,
Do the
it happens
thing.
a bunch in the
Oh,
third
yeah.
one.
They do the thing a lot.
But when he turns and it goes like
The sideways.
Oh, it's so
turn.
good. I
And
don't
we
know
have
if-
it in front of us.
I don't know if y'all can
You know,
see.
When they designed that, they just went,
In the video
That's
version, we have a little a figure of the Bat Pod.
I bought that at when my home Blockbuster went out of business.
Aw,
One of my,
Blockbuster.
Shout out to the
Rip.
night.
One of my favorite details from the behind the scenes of that is they were worried about Batman's cape when they
Yes.
were building that.
Oh,
And they were like it's gonna get caught in the mechanism, and like, what are we gonna do? Is it going to be a CG cape, whatever? And the first moment that they did a test, the cape immediately started perfectly doing exactly what it
'Cause it
does
had
in the movie
the
and
perfect-
flipping because of the wind, I guess.
The
Oh,
perfect
yeah.
amount of drift and
It,
drag.
like immediately
Or lift.
started just doing that cool flickering from
Oh,
behind.
man.
cool. So they're like,
Was
we're fine.
not an issue.
We're fine. We're
Yeah.
totally fine. Like that's the super exciting part.
I want to
When
ride that. and wear
Batmobile
a
gets
cape.
destroyed, and you're like, oh well, shit. And then
Shit.
it's just initiating, and he's just.
Well, also the funny thing is we had seen that in marketing leading up to the movie,
and we didn't know.
and we didn't know. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it's just matching design.
we didn't know
but
it came from the pod.
you
It's
didn't know
the
it came from the
Batmobile itself.
front wheels of the.
I would say though, it gets paired up with like
Thing.
let's go put on our Tim Burton and Joel Schumacher like lenses on. Like remember in every new Batman movie there was always a new toy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was like the one thing
a
that I
new
always,
vehicle,
Yeah,
a
like,
new, like
you watch a new Iron Man movie, you're gonna get a new fucking
new
suit.
suit.
And it's like
Yeah.
it's a wonderful feeling to watch these genre films of like, oh, give me the new toy, baby. Give me the
Mhm.
fucking new toy. And you're like, oh, it comes from that.
It's from us being kids and wanting new
Mhm.
toys.
Mhm.
And also like the little bit of behind the scenes from that, like how it's actually built from two engines, and the engines are in the tires.
That
I
makes
didn't know the
sense
engine-
because
I
there's
didn't know
very
they were in the
little frame.
tires.
They're in the tires. So there's
It's a
two
good question.
engines. There's one in
I
the
never
rear.
thought about the functionality.
there's
of it.
one in the back and there's one in the front. And then the
Wow.
middle piece, all it is just a control console. And you have to lean.
wow.
And so it actually changes your center of gravity. So it's like, it's actually quote unquote for better steering. But I was like, oh, that's really crazy.
Nice.
They like, again, that's the one thing I really liked about so far that I've known about the Nolan films of Batman is that like everything they've built has come from like, okay, how do they do that in real world?
Right,
And then
yeah.
how can we
how could this be a thing
Yeah.
today?
Mhm.
Some scenes that like haven't been talked about. I love the kind of the beginning scene where it's we're getting the cranes in it and all that kind of stuff, but the intro of Batman or when he's watching the van and he
Just
drops
walks over
and there's almost
confidently.
like it's like a pause in the way
It
that he
is.
hits the van. It's like it's hard to explain. It's just like it's almost like he was cut into it. Just the way it's just sudden, everything
Mhm.
bends, and the,
The
way that
music
he
cuts out and
lands.
everything.
Yeah, that's one thing that I noticed about this watch through too was the sound mixing and the way that they use sound or did not use sound. That I found was especially there's a club scene. And I only noticed it because we have a Bose sound system in the subwoofer we have turned up a little bit, and I was like, wow,
A little bit.
Little bit?
You were sitting right next to it.
I was. And I was like, this is like a back. I was laying on the floor. I was like, oh, it's a back massage.
Where there's that it also like the single violin note that they use for the Joker theme, like
Yeah.
when they're about to transport Harvey Dent, like all the sound and music slowly drains completely out,
Yeah.
and then just the Joker theme starts. You're like, well,
Can we go somewhere quieter where we can talk?
What makes you think I want to hear you talk?
What makes you think?
What?
What
did you say?
I'm gonna call this scene the drop interrogation.
ooh,
When he's like, "Oh, from this height, I can't
Oh.
die," and he's like, "That's what."
counting on it.
counting
Yeah,
on
it's
it.
just like,
Ooh.
Oh,
oh, when he drops and he lands,
his
you're like,
legs.
The sound,
Ow!
I
you
love
heard
it.
it.
There's so many.
does not
And then
sound
he said,
comfortable.
Where are they?
He must have friends.
Yep.
Wow.
I
We're
did.
getting there.
Also, one big aspect, I do like the new suit.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
fantastic.
And I'll say this now, like going back and saying this in 2019, I'm glad they were going for like black and gray, but like there is something really nice about this like all black matte suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, this weird random side tangent. I want to know what the color they used because the color they used for Tim Burton's Batmobile is actually a purple, and it's a paint from China apparently that scratches really easily, and like it gives it that special polish. If you look at that black and then compare it to the Tumbler's black, you can
Yeah.
totally tell there's a two different blacks. So I'm wondering what the black they use
Yeah.
for
From his
this
suit.
Yeah, because like now that
Well,
I
I
thought about it, I was
know-
like, what? There's different
look this
kinds
up
of
real
paints
quick. I know
from
for-
different countries.
I know for Batman Begins for sure they used it's just what it became. So it was like the white latex they were using for the suit plus black just dye. Made it like this.
This was a
weird dark
titanium
gray.
tri-weave this time,
Yeah.
and the separated plates provided more mobility, but more susceptibility to gunfire and knives.
I think also
What?
That's the
his
what he
cape
says.
was also
Oh.
like a darker black than like his suit.
maybe the
Oh,
dark.
it totally is kind of like a bluish, purplish.
thing.
Oh, weird.
It's not black.
But
Anyways,
cool.
so
the
back to-
reveal of Two-Face
Ah.
because of the way that they did it,
No,
because
you're
they
not.
teased it.
yeah,
They
teased
teased
it a
like you.
couple times.
They kind of have like a really small.
Why?
Because that's what he does.
They have a small view of his face, and you're like, oh, they're gonna show you. They're not gonna show you. And then when they do it, you're
When
like,
it's a reveal.
oh God.
That is fucked up.
Well, he makes him call him Two-Face first, which
Yeah.
is like the cool part of that.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why it's just like very an intense,
Yeah.
like kind of suspenseful scene.
It is
where
cool
you're like,
also to see Harvey Dent's slow transformation, like of because he has moments where he's getting really pissed off.
Thomas Schiff.
Yeah, and he's just like
He
you
just
really
yells
you're
like,
seeing.
"Baby, I compare you to a kiss from a rose on the
gray. Ooh.
The more I get it.
Next person.
No, but like when he's like,
Well, I mean, you just
interrogating
see,
him.
Yeah, you're just seeing us.
Wow. Or when he's even yelling at
Josh?
Batman, like, you can't give in.
He's just slowly transforming, and you're
Mhm.
seeing like. I mean, like you were saying earlier, of seeing somebody that you think, oh, he's incorruptible.
Yeah.
But you're seeing as the movie is going on, no, he's slowly becoming because his values are taking over. He is the reverse in a way of Joker because the Joker's like, well, why don't you see this? It's the same way where he's like, why don't you guys see what I'm trying to do here? And he's slowly shifting into that.
You used to be a schemer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Mhm.
it's just such a cool.
Don't talk like them. You're not one of them.
Yeah.
Oh man, when he tells Batman not to talk like the police, even if you want to be, and you're just like, oh shit, because the world's greatest detective, but he's not technically a detective.
I'd say Batman is the thesis, Joker is the antithesis, and then Harvey is like the foil to Batman, and he becomes the victim of it. So like they work, like one works within the law, one works without the law. They both have similar ideologies, which makes them foils, not like antagonistic forces. And then that's what changes, like, because he can be corrupted and Batman cannot.
Yeah.
Another scene. This is just a delivery aspect of it all, but he's goading that guy into being like, "Do you want to know which one of your friends are cowards?" He's like asking him,
Yeah.
"How many of your friends did I kill?" 6.
He just
You can
squints.
But then
hear
at
the
the
little
end,
mouth
the
noises
climax
of him.
of that
He did
scene,
not actually
And
saying
he's
it.
got the piece of the two-way glass to
Yeah.
his neck, and he's like, "What do you want? What? What do you want?" I just want my phone call. He's like, fucking brilliant.
I really like the
So innocently.
the last scene of the gun with the children and Gordon on the ground and Batman there.
Mhm.
And he's like, we all made a decision, so start pointing the gun at the people who are responsible. And it's that whole like monologue that Two-Face has, like, the Joker chose me. I'm the one that lost everything. It's like, you said that we could be just men in an unjust time, and or decent men in an indecent time. It's like, it's so fucking. It's like, it's Shakespearean.
It is.
Mhm.
And-
Yes.
but it's also very just like, yeah, this is like this post 9/11 modernistic, like postmodern world that we're going into, where like the rules get skewed and like people just fall by the wayside, and like it's blurring that white and black into gray, and it's just like, oh,
Well, he's struggling with like not being able to achieve what he wants to do, which is like he's just trying to do the right thing.
well,
He's trying to be the White Knight for Gotham, but the world
it took
isn't.
everything from him.
No matter what he does, it keeps going bad.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, what does he have to do to
And-
overcome it? He needs to resort to drastic measures.
Going further into it with like Batman's duality of Bruce Wayne and Batman, Two-Face and Harvey, it's like two different people, and the way he copes with is with the coin toss. He has like, Batman is trying to cope within all of his own mental fortitude and like how he balances it, just like as we think traditionally people try to cope in things with that. Some people use like drugs and alcohol, but then the way that Harvey Two-Face does it is with the coin. And it's like the decision, he refuses
It's
to
a
have
focus kind of object.
Well, he kind
so
of
to
also
speak.
refuses to have the responsibility.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not my responsibility anymore if
It's
you
fate.
live or die. It's
Yeah.
it's by pure choice.
Chaos.
It's the way
chance,
his
which is
brain
fair.
can
Yeah.
Can't hurt your chances.
make it logic.
as us gamers know, it's RNG's, baby.
Jesus.
Another aspect that I find is really poignant is just their relationship with Rachel, each of them. Like you can tell, like Rachel is clearly Harvey's breaking point. That's when he takes Schiff. With Batman, it's in the interrogation scene. So as soon as he realizes that Rachel is also in trouble, that's when he flips him onto the table, puts the thing under the door, and it's like, all right, this is for real.
And brilliant that he flips the addresses.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because he says
He knows who he's going for.
Well,
Yeah.
he knows like, and that's the
I
thing.
almost
It's like
thought you were Harvey Dent, the way you dove after her.
Joker knows, like, again, it's killing is making a choice, who lives and who dies.
Yeah.
And Batman learns that immediately and says it to Gordon. It's like, it's never that simple with the Joker. It never is.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you can fucking flipping the rules around, flip the script,
Well, he
baby.
wanted Batman to fail.
He learns it immediately.
Yeah.
He wanted Batman to fail, which he did.
Which is why he's like, give me 5 minutes.
5
I'm
minutes.
going to figure out what the play is here. And then also, little side note, the next scene, those pooches are his pooches. So how
Mhm.
loyal is a loyal dog?
Which now thinking about it, since I know a little bit more, or now because Tom King had a comic book come out recently and it learned about like how Batman got the Bat Hound Ace, and it's actually one of the Joker's dogs that was like abandoned.
Oh.
And there's Joker, there's
From Batman
King.
Beyond?
No, it's in a comic book, current comic
Oh.
book, and there's King, Queen, and Ace,
Oh.
and then one becomes Ace. And
Is that the dog he has in Beyond, though?
it's
the
supposed
Ace?
to be?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
yeah,
so
yeah.
I was,
He
and
says
I was thinking about, it, I was
down
like,
ace or something like
yeah,
that.
and I was thinking about, it, I was like, 3 dogs.
Yeah.
So dogs in
could've
this, I
been
think, are. I mean,
Rottweiler.
They're the
Well,
Russians.
we're assuming that it's literal and not just a
I want
a
to hear
line he made.
proposition.
But at the beginning of the movie, they're hungry dogs, so he's kind of starving them a little bit.
Dogs.
So he's
Yeah.
like, they're maybe like actually
My
hungry dogs.
are hungry.
Right. And then like, how loyal is a hungry dog? Well, if they really did cut him up and feed him to his pooches,
Yeah.
then they're well fed by the Joker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I found that interesting.
Brilliant. Yeah. The next scene that you see the Joker, they're his dogs. And they're waiting
because he
there
fed
with
him.
Yeah.
I know this episode's
A Russian
chock
lobster,
full
but-
of favorite parts, but the boat scene and
Yes.
Oh,
that was gonna be my
yeah.
next
and
one,
the
yeah.
prisoner.
You
Yeah.
can tell him I
Oh.
took
Go ahead,
it
Josh.
from you.
No, I was. Yeah, you could say it.
I was like, I will do what you should have did 10 minutes ago.
Mhm.
I was like,
I just love because leading up to it, you think like
He's gonna
like,
do the thing.
I'll be real frank with you. The first time I watched it, some of you may be in on it. You may have picked up on what was gonna happen. I full on thought that dude was gonna do
Well,
something.
I thought so too because the way that he was,
Show-
show
talking
him.
about it.
yeah, where he's
You
like,
can tell them that I took it by
from you."
force,
Yeah,
and like you're like, oh
implying that they're
shit, he's gonna
live. Yeah,
he's gonna flip the switch on the other boat.
Shout out to Tom Lister Jr.
dude
Is
is phenomenal. He's also got really good comedy chops. If you haven't seen his
Friday.
yeah.
So
So
I
good.
remember watching
Same
Dark,
outfit.
Dark Knight later on with my mom, and my mom cried when that happened because it's the big point that like Joker's trying to make is that there is no such thing as good
That
people
whole
anymore.
point of that whole
Social
interchange.
experiment,
Yeah, I mean, and then the quote,
Do it yourself.
the quote regular people on the other boat, they're like, oh shit, I can't do it either. And the guy
that
who's
guy-
so gung ho for it, and then he gets the power to do it, and he's
to
like,
take lives of
And
300 something
What
people.
would you get? No, that's terrible. I'm not gonna do
What'd
that.
you do for a Klondike bar?
I don't know.
just
right?
go to the
Would-
store
were you
and buy
asking
one.
us, would we do it?
For a
Jesus,
Klondike bar?
no,
Yeah,
we're
so-
not talking
But
about
also, would you turn every cell phone in the city?
that. To find the Joker?
To
Yeah,
find the Joker?
100%.
Uh-huh.
Let's get political now.
That's a really easy question. Since Batman did it, yeah, I'd do it.
There you go.
And Lucius Fox hated
And then
it.
you can type in
Yeah, but then I would do
Thomas
the same thing.
Pedborsuth, and then it would all the
Just
screen
for right
would
now.
explode.
Would you leak out government information?
Wow.
Like a Submarine,
Submarine,
Mr.
Mr.
Submarine. I love the Hong Kong sequence.
yeah.
Oh, Hong
fucking-
Kong. Yeah,
Dude,
let's
it's
shout that out,
great.
by the way.
That was so funny because he's like, oh yeah, it's got the sonar. Oh, you mean like a submarine?
But-
And I'm
well,
like,
my-
you mean like a bat?
Yeah, yeah. What if he was like, no, I mean a bat, Lucius? He's like, I know.
I know,
It's not funny if you have to explain it.
I would laugh. He says, "Just wait till the next movie."
My favorite
Right?
my favorite part about that is leading into it when he's like, and he's like, a flight back. Well, I suggest a good travel agent
Yeah.
without
Without it landing.
getting-
Without a plane
yeah, without
landing.
landing the plane. Now we're
Now we're
talking.
talking.
Which is like, there's a beautiful little tension in the moment where he's waiting for the plane to hook.
Oh
And
yeah,
it's
because the
kinda-
cops are
the music
have the guns
cuts.
on
The
them.
music kind of cuts lower,
Mhm.
and he's just like sitting there, and he's like, okay, I hope this fucking works. And then
Skyhook. baby.
Right on time.
flips him around for just a sec, and they take off.
Because Batman has no jurisdiction.
Deliver to.
Delivered to Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon.
Also, I
So
really
good.
He
do
looked
love.
like he had had a pretty rough night.
Yeah,
do-
well, yeah.
I do love where Batman goes and meets Harvey Dent, and it's like, we should bring some tables together. I don't think they'll let us. Well, they should. I just bought the
I
place.
just own the I own the place.
I own the place. And then also it's like, oh, so you like ballet? And then later on takes the ballet.
Takes the
Takes the
ballet on the
entire
night of their date.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like,
takes the entire
That's
ballet.
so good.
You could teach me Russian for apply your
That's
own bloody
like
suntan
the,
lotion.
the richest, pettiest move I've seen.
That's a flex.
My
This
favorite
is weird flex.
My favorite
but all
is-
right.
Dick energy.
her reaction to it, like Rachel's
Her
reaction.
reaction, like, of
She's
course.
like, "Of course he did that."
But
to
you
me."
know,
Yeah.
so I did watch the extra features and all that stuff. They did one of the producers, Lauren Orleans, actually helped produce, or the next producer for the next film, produced Gotham Tonight, which is the show that Anthony Michael Hall does. And they did like a viral marketing thing where they did like interviews of the actors, like as a
Character?
character,
Oh, okay.
weird.
of the events leading up to the bank heist.
oh, cool.
And so
Whoa.
like they talk about like Jonathan Crane, like his toxins out there, and then they did this whole exclusive about like
We
this
should try to find that.
this
I'd love to
kid
watch it.
Tim who died because he took one of these drugs and they thought it was just ecstasy, a party drug, but then he died because he was freaking having hallucinogens.
Oh.
And then they did one of like Aaron Eckhart as Harvey Dent, and they did one of Sal Maroney, right?
his whole viral marketing campaign for this
They
movie was
went
awesome. Like the
insane.
I Believe in
with this
Harvey
one.
Dent
Yeah, it was
campaign that was like
everywhere.
actually
Yeah.
online. And
Yeah.
And then
Whoa.
it got hacked
Yeah.
by the
Right.
Joker, and then they quickly changed it after Heath passed.
Mhm.
They were like, okay, go back to Harvey.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then one of the things I really liked was actually they kind of gave you a little bit more backstory of what you kind of asked for from the last episode from Batman Begins. Go
Mhm.
listen to that one now if you're listening. But they talked about what they did to say what happened to Bruce Wayne those 7 years he was gone. And part of it was that he went to go and find international models and create like a company or do like his own like photography stint. And then, like
Yeah.
that kind of led to the whole Playboy thing.
Yeah.
Then I was like, whoa. And then it's like he recently had interest in Russian ballet people. And I was like,
whoa, they weaved that in
Yeah.
so like, oh, that's very interesting. Because like you
Huh.
think about it, Batman Begins, they don't answer. It's like, so what were you doing for 7 years?
Yeah.
Like, and then they answer this in like non-narrative film. So I was like, oh, I didn't need that, but that's fucking interesting that you still thought of it.
A lot of the
Yeah.
duality between Bruce Wayne and Batman is fun in this. Like you said, throwing the champagne over because
He's sober.
He doesn't drink. But also him walking in a helicopter with 3 women
Yeah.
under his arms and his like super cheesy speech. Yeah, good slogan, Harv.
I believe in Harvey Dent.
Yeah, it was really really wonderful, and it, like him vetting Harvey at the dinner table and
Mhm.
all that kind of stuff.
So
I really
casually
enjoy
cool.
how quickly he like. I mean, obviously Christian Bale is a phenomenally talented actor, and it's not a very difficult change. But to do it so subtly, but still have the audience key in on when you're Bruce Wayne and when you're Bruce Wayne is
Right.
really phenomenal.
We-
like really well done.
We talked about how Cillian Murphy auditioned to be Batman at first. Josh, you got
Siri
Siri.
has something to say.
Siri was trying to help us out find who Batman
Why
is.
so serious?
No, that's what
Actually, that has activated it before.
What do
what did
I
I
have to
even
do again?
say?
So Cillian Murphy did audition to be Batman
Yeah.
first. Then he got Scarecrow, but then Christian Bale was the first one that Christopher Nolan saw, and then he already knew, or he still went the formalities of auditioning more people, but he like knew like Christian Bale looks like the guy who looks like he could lead the double life and have that drive and force of will to like change his whole life.
Well,
Yeah.
another phenomenal thing about casting Christian Bale in a role like Bruce Wayne is that he is that dedicated to things.
Mhm.
So you could
That was
really
it.
believe that, like him losing all that weight for Machinist, or gaining it back, or losing it all for the fighter again, or all that kind of like gaining all that weight for American Hustle. Like this is the guy you believe really could spend his nights jumping on rooftops and training on all his off time to make sure that he's Batman.
Kind of a side tangent. I think what's funny is that people didn't really know that he was British
Yeah,
until
Right.
these
Oh,
movies.
he
and
did all his interviews in American
Yeah.
accents.
Yeah, and then not recently, but around this time of this movie, there were times that he wasn't, and it was like it was interesting to
Welsh.
see the internet just go crazy of like, I'm using a modern day meme, but like I was this
This
year-
year's old when I
this year's
learned
old, and it's just
he's
so
Welsh.
funny. Like,
But yeah,
he's just-
because his big thing is he didn't want people to know that Bruce Wayne wasn't, or Batman wasn't American. So his tour for the movie, his junkets were all done in an American accent.
Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. I thought he was an American actor until
Mhm.
then, but
Yeah.
Same.
Last thing I want to give a shout out to is the night, and
Oh.
is the Joker videos. And a little fun
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
about these is that the first one was overseen with Nolan. So it was Nolan, Heath Ledger, and then the extra in the scene, the fake Batman who's tied up. But Heath Ledger did the camera work for it, and Nolan would come in, watch it with him, and go, okay, do another one. Step out of the room, let him film another one, and thought he did so phenomenally that the other 2 he just let Heath film by himself with whatever
Whoa.
actor was involved.
Mhm.
So those the fine. I think there's 2 other videos. There's one with Anthony Michael Hall upside down.
Yeah.
And then, or maybe it's just the last one. I thought there was 2 for some reason. I think there's 3 total.
There's a call
imposter
in. No, no, no.
Batman that he kills.
Maybe there's just the 2, but he let him do the other one all on
Mhm.
his own. And I thought that was really cool. That those are
Yeah.
just basically Heath Ledger, and
Yeesh.
Nolan was just like, I kind of just let him do his thing because he knows what the fuck he's doing, and they're great. They're terrifying. That first one scared the shit out of me the first time I watched it. I was like, that.
yeah.
See, if you saw that video on the news,
Well,
fucking
I
terrifying.
mean, the
Meat
Joker
locker
in
and
this
all.
was terrifying.
scary, like
Yeah.
really scary.
Like terrifying. I mean, just so myopic in his vision and just devoted to it and doesn't understand that there would be any other side to it.
Right.
And he's just like, it's so fucking brilliant.
Got all. He's like, look what I've done with a few barrels of gasoline and a couple bullets.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's all it took, really.
introduce
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Favorite characters?
Yeah.
Not
Mhm.
Batman.
Joker.
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 Easy.
Oh, it's not Joker for me.
Okay.
It's Gordon.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay.
Plays it close to the chest.
It'd be
Everyone
very,
does in this.
It'd be very close to heart. Well,
Yeah, mine's Joker too.
Harvey Dent.
Harvey's really good in this too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would
Harvey's
be
good
like
in too.
it would be like Joker and then just like Harvey.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, obviously, I'm just saying like Joker's great, but I'm just like I'm trying to give some.
Of
credence
course.
to him.
Of course.
Some
Should we
love.
go without Joker then? Should we
Yeah,
just
let's
go
say
with
that,
that.
like,
Aw.
obviously Joker is.
Because this is arguably more of a Joker movie than a Batman movie.
Yeah.
In
So
that case,
Batman.
Way harder.
So if we're not doing Joker and Batman because
they're
they're the main
the
mains.
tops.
Like obvious. I mean, he won an Oscar for his performance. Everyone credits this as one of the greatest superhero.
Not
performances of all
one
time.
comic book movie's done that so far.
I would say that, yeah, Gordon would be my favorite.
Like,
in this.
there's a really like something I noticed and I thought it was weird, but then now that I've gotten into filmmaking and stuff like that, like I adore him so much is the point where he's like, please don't keep that gun away from my family. It's like, I'm sorry for everything.
yeah,
You see him drooling, and I'm like, that is the most intense moment that he's
Oh, him
done.
on the ground.
Yeah, because he's like
Yeah.
just got hit in the ground. He went on the face,
That
and
was
he turned around,
Very
and then
powerful.
he's like on the side of his body, and then now he's just like back up.
Trying
And
to,
you
like-
see like the glisten coming out of the corner of his mouth, and you're like, oh my god, he's fucking desperate.
he's desperate. Yeah, I mean that's great, and just how much he has to endure. Also, like his friendship with Batman. Like he believes in he probably believes in Batman more than anyone else does.
Even Batman.
More than that.
I mean, probably even more so than Batman does. And the thing he has to do is turn probably his greatest ally into a villain.
And if anything, he
Mhm.
has the most to lose
yeah,
because he can lose his family,
Yeah.
and he could lose his police precinct, and he can
Trust
lose
of
the
the city.
faith of the city.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like Batman and Two-Face, kind of just show that they have more personal things that they have lost and more ideological sensitive things they lost. But like Gary Oldman, and I think he really well says it when he first meets Harvey. Harvey is like, when you were back in IA, I was like still working with anyone. I was still working by
I was working
myself.
alone,
I don't get any
yeah.
political points for the people who I work with now.
for
But
being an ideologist.
yeah,
Mhm.
so it's like I can't like pick and choose who I get part of the MCU.
Yeah. If he goes, yeah, because
Marvel
you're working. That's right. You're
Cinematic
working with.
Universe.
I
You're-
can't
while you were
stop it
building
if
your name.
if Sony takes Tom Holland back.
But the line is, he's like, oh yeah, you're working with a bunch of people I investigated when I was at IA. He's like, if I didn't work with people you investigated at IA, I'd work alone.
Yeah.
So what
And
am I
that's-
supposed to do?
That's as cool. And the Gotham City Tonight thingy, whatever, talks about how like there's not that much like there's not the Ra's al Ghul people in the rest of the infrastructure of the world, but the fact that like the police force is depleting because of Harvey Dent.
Yeah.
Right.
Harvey Dent has taken so many police officers and then taken them off the police force. So like they're trying to stop crime, but they're also cannibalizing each other.
Right.
And so there's that tension that like now that I know that I would have watched it, I'm like, oh fuck, there would have been that extra layer. But like there's already good tension in the film.
Mm.
so
Mhm.
Gordon.
Gordon
Fair.
for me too.
I think for me it's Lucius Fox, just because he, especially once that machine or like
To my understanding.
the sonar stuff gets introduced, and he's like,
Consider this my resignation.
Yep,
as long as this
I'm
is here, I
done.
won't be.
but he's still like he trusts him enough to be like, I'll see this through, but I'm not happy with you right now.
Yeah. Well, he knows what's at stake. He's
Yeah.
like, the entire city's
Yeah.
at stake. I'll help you this fucking.
I would
once,
say
and
that-
then I'm out.
Yeah.
One
yeah.
shout out from Batman Begins though is when he's like, this realist jump. No.
mine is Aaron Eckhart's
Harvey Dent.
Yeah, me too.
You believe in Harvey Dent?
Yeah.
There you
I
go.
love the trial scene where like
Oh.
he's like
I'm
hostile.
not done.
I'll show you hostile, and he gives him a right
Carbon
hook
fiber made in
Takes-
China.
for it to go made in China.
If you're trying to
Wanna
kill a
take
public defendant,
I recommend you buy American.
Ugh.
So badass.
take the witness away. But
He's
I'm
like,
not
I'm not done.
But Your Honor, I'm not done. Everyone's like, oh my
Applause.
God.
Amazing. We love you.
And then she's like, oh, the fact that they're trying to kill you means you're really getting to them. I'm fine, by the way.
Yeah. Right. So I think just his performance is just incredibly
Oh, yeah.
complex and nuanced.
It's the
and
journey. The
You
journey.
can, you can see you can watch his facial expressions change while he descends into madness.
Which is interesting because we hear a lot of like buzz about whoever plays Joker, but we don't hear a lot of buzz whoever plays Two-Face.
No, because
That's a tough
lot
role.
of people like say that Two-Face is like wasted in this movie in the sense that he just doesn't have a lot of screen time and he doesn't become Two-Face until like towards the end of the third act. But I don't subscribe
believe
to that
it.
notion.
I
at
don't
all.
believe it.
And
But to defend that point,
Right.
I would watch an entire Batman film of
yes,
Two-Face.
yeah, it's a
Yes.
shame that he didn't convert earlier just so he can see more of that madness
think-
manifest. But
But I
it's
think
purpose.
story
That's-
wise, yeah.
like we were.
I think early drafts actually had that ideology that it would go on that the third film would have been more about Two-Face.
Because
Mm.
Joker was
Yeah, I can
supposed to
see
be in
that.
the third film too.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, just watching him descend into madness is
Yeah.
he did
Yeah.
a pretty good job. I was impressed by him.
What you said.
But Two-Face?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's my favorite. And
if
the
Joker's
exact
not there.
same. What you said.
Just say
Was
ditto.
that what
Ditto.
you did?
Yeah.
I'll just
Quimquams?
move your
Qualms.
Quimquams. I got one.
Qualms.
What'd you just laugh at?
He knows exactly what my qualm is. And it has to do with a lot of the extra character lines. I think they're really poorly written and poorly delivered.
No more dead cops.
I hate that line. But my least favorite of the whole thing is, first of all, this guy bugs me through the whole time. So
Hope you got
during
some
the
moves,
whole-
man.
Yeah. The guy who gets in with Gordon
Who?
before we know it's Gordon driving.
Oh, yeah.
All of his lines,
All
basically.
of his lines.
All
Yeah.
of
But
his
the
lines.
ones that stand out the most, guys,
I know which ones they
they
are now.
crawl up my skin and I have night terrors of them. I wake up in cold sweats dreaming about this.
Baby.
And it's when he says, I'm not wearing
Oh
hockey.
my God! You waited this whole time.
Very good.
No, but it is. It's when they come up from underground. They're like, get the choppers back up. And it hits some power lines. And he goes, that's not good. And then it hits the ground and tumbles. And he goes, okay, that's not good. Which doesn't make any sense because he already said it's not good.
Yeah.
Why is he arguing with it going, oh, okay, that's not good? Like, you said it already. What you've just said is a response to going, oh, that's good. Then it crashes. Then you go, okay, that's not good. And for some reason,
Right.
it gets under my skin
Yeah.
That
to a degree that I can't explain.
That's literally the mouth noise from Uncle Vernon in Harry Potter.
We both did.
Get it?
Yeah, that's how I feel with that line.
I understand.
Um,
I feel you.
That's not good.
I'll give you
On
that.
a
Okay, that's
spiritual level.
not good. It like I could have done without one or the other.
Yeah. There's a bunch littered throughout though.
I would say you can have
No
it.
more dead cops.
You can have it, but I would say when my computer died
Yeah.
and it blue screened, I was like, oh, that's not good. And then it went, and then I turned it off. I was like, okay, that's not
It's-
good.
I think it's
Like,
meant to be an
It was one of
emphasis.
those
but-
escalations of like,
the way he delivers it does
God.
does not condone
I
that
got that.
feeling
yeah,
to
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And it gets it like
Oh.
it's like nails on a chalkboard.
In the
every time.
first episode, I said that like the background people, like the peripheral
We're so
people, were
good.
really good. And then this one, I was like,
there's a lot of those
Oh.
lines littered throughout this one. For
Well, it's
some
like the
reason.
English language
no.
already set you up for success. You just say that's really not good.
Okay, yeah. I don't
Use
know
a
what it
different
was.
word.
But all
No,
a
I'm
lot
saying,
of
like,
his
he could
lines,
have used
yeah, no, 100%.
To modify the
That's
the
really
sentence.
not good. Yeah.
no more dead cops.
But there's the most of the lines he says really bug me.
like Christmas.
He's I don't know.
There's a
Oh, what is that? A bazooka? yeah, man. It's the Joker.
I'm laughing
You're
that it
so
bothers you so
bothered.
much.
yeah.
Corey's over here like, do you not have eyes?
Not necessary. We saw close
Oh,
up.
we know.
Thank you, Mister.
Anyway, that's my first qualm.
First,
Yeah,
there's more.
there could be.
The one, I'll always want to bring this up because I always find it kind of funny. It's continuity stuff. And there's just during the interrogation scene, there's like to me, it's like a pretty glaring continuity thing. And it's when Batman has Joker.
Is it when Rachel Dawes is played by
Maggie
Maggie
Gyllenhaal?
Gyllenhaal?
Did you change something with your hair? Was that?
It's me. Get over it. Well, Batman has Joker against the wall with his forearm against his neck, and Joker has he's doing like a chin up position where his hands are in between on his forehand.
Yeah, he even pulls it up a
Forearm.
little bit.
and on his forearm, and then they cut back, and it's the same. So shot reverse shot's fine, but then they cut to a wide of it, so you get a 2-shot of them, and then his hand is overhand, so he's doing pull up position.
Oh,
So his hands are overhand of Batman's forearm, and it's just kind of like, come on, man. But then that's again, it's like that's choir boy shit compared to
Closest you're gonna
Choir
get to
boy.
a cabe
The
don.
choir boy compared to me. That's nothing to me. So that's like, I'll notice that. To me, that's like an actual problem.
right.
For me, it was a couple.
It's not like a taste thing.
The only qualm I guess I would have is like some of the scenarios feel a little too convenient. Mainly like the bank heist and like them backing into the bank and then like just going out into a row
Like
of
none
buses.
of the people would have been like, "Hey, 911."
My only thing is
this bus just pulled in
That-
front of us.
That's
My-
one of my qualms. I've seen this movie so many times that that's the one part that I go.
if I
"Wait
was
a
the
minute,
last bus
I
in that
call
row,
bullshit.
Well,
Nobody
here's the thing
noticed
that I just
think
realized.
I think it's organized the whole thing.
they're
The
all
entire
his
row.
buses.
I think the entire row is his
Wait,
buses.
what?
those aren't just school
So
buses.
the weird
Those
thing
are
is, like,
all his buses.
He turns out into a
Oh.
row of buses and then they just go like normal. If I was like the bus behind that saw a bus come out of a building,
Okay, I
and
can
just
buy that
pretend
logic.
The reason I think that is because they leave the space. Why would there be a bus length
that's
space?
true. There's a bus
If they
length
weren't
space.
his
Okay,
buses.
okay. I can buy that logic.
Yeah.
Those are all
Huh.
his
They
buses,
won't-
and then I think they all disperse
The
different ways.
only part of that where I would go, but he said, no, I'm supposed to kill the bus driver. There's not bus drivers.
Yeah,
or
but why would you?
There's no reference to.
There's seven-
That's the
seven
only bus
slices.
driver that comes in the building, though.
Yeah.
They're also you're actually kind of because there's only 7 slices of the pie, so there would be like 11.
Or
not. I don't know.
they're just
Or
hired
they're just paid
drivers.
off.
They're
Yeah,
not
or they're
part of
just they've infiltrated the infrastructure and they're just
They're just
doing
hired
their
drivers.
thing. That's true.
Another factual problem. Gotham is not a state, so it does not get its own license plate.
Correct. Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
what? Oh,
They modeled it
oh.
after Illinois,
Yeah.
which is a state, not Chicago, which is a city.
Well, because I think there's no like, is there a canon state? I've seen New Jersey thrown around.
No!
But, so there isn't. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's
So-
Gotham City. It's not Gotham in Gotham.
So
it's not
that's
New
the
York.
best-
What state?
What
is
would
it
you
in?
have?
There's no.
It's actually in New York.
Would you want the
Gotham is in New York apparently,
Oh,
Then yeah, then it
or
would.
should be
Gotham's
in
in
New-
Jersey.
should be in New York.
Yeah.
What about? Oh no, I just forgot what I was gonna say. No, that's a good
Oh,
one.
that's not good.
Oh, it's not good. Golly gee willikers.
Have a couple over.
Yeah, go for it.
I gotta take a piss. Watch the place.
The
That's the one. That's the bartender.
it's just something that
Want me
I
to shake
kind
it
of
for
go.
you?
That it kind of makes me sad. So if you watch Batman Begins and you watch The Dark Knight back to back, there's
as we did.
there's kind of a almost clear production design change.
No orange.
Especially with the
orange.
It's
Unless
not even about the orange. It's
Lower
really
East Side.
the way things look. Like the island. I forget what the name of the island was in the
Narrows.
first
The
one.
Narrows.
The Narrows. Like
You don't see
there's
it.
there you don't see that, but there's also and I hate to say this, but there's almost a Tim Burton-esque feel on the first one that all of a sudden in the second one it was not present, and it doesn't to the point where it's like the production design of either don't bother me. It was just like
It's a jarring effect.
it's a jarring effect.
It
Where
was
it's like,
them
oh, this
wanting
one is so
to-
different. Like
It was them wanting to, I feel, give Gotham like a personality,
yeah,
like they kind of have been doing.
From what Nolan said was that with Batman Begins, he wanted to tell a Batman story, right?
Yeah.
And he wanted to tell the origin that like no other person's done, but take a lot from the comic books as much as he could, right? Yeah. But it was The Dark Knight. He said this was our chance for us to make a story that's truly grounded.
yeah.
And so because
It's much more realistic.
Yeah.
It was just so
Well,
like
the
oh.
thing is with think of the other coin
Yeah.
is that Batman Begins was almost a perfect like you could have went the other direction and went completely Burton-esque.
yeah,
Right.
And that's the kind of the thing. It's like if you went the other way, like, and that was it. It was not going to go continuing to being a Batman Begins feel. It was going to be like Burton-esque or what we got. And so yeah, it would have been a jarring experience no matter
It's
what.
it's that same 5-10% fantasy
Yeah.
filter that was
Yeah,
turned
yeah.
down for
yeah.
The
That's
Dark Knight.
smart.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's one of those things that it's like I like both. It was just
Yeah.
kind of a thing that I go,
It stands out.
It's different.
because
It's just different.
because they are a continuation of each other. That you're like, oh,
Oh, it's a trilogy.
the other qualm, and I hate to bring this up because it's become such an internet joke, and it's the voice. Like the reason why I had qualms. Okay, so Batman Begins, I didn't have the qualm because, and I know it was a great experiment today watching them all three back to back. In Batman Begins, he didn't have such a
Gruff.
in this one, he did, and that was one of the reasons why I walked away when I first saw this movie. I was like, "What the fuck happened?"
Mhm.
I just could not
There's
get.
a couple things.
One of my friends, Curtis, the guy I watched it multiple
Yeah.
times with, he told me, I was like, we were seeing all the. We
It
were
doesn't
seeing,
bother me as much, but it is something like I'm like,
It's a choice.
He was
That's
the
a-
he was the
that's a choice.
first like gruff apologist for it, and he said
Yeah.
like, give the guy a fucking break. He's British and he's learning to do our accent and then another accent. It's
Yeah.
like, and I was like, okay, you're right.
it doesn't like. It's one of those like qualms that it's like watching it today. I was like, it
well, it's
kind of makes
digital.
me go,
I think they just wanted to
It's
sound a bit
digital.
more.
yeah.
Yeah,
They wanted it to be a bit more terrifying. Is
What-
my
what do
guess. They
you-
wanted it to be scarier.
it's a post
Sounding-
thing.
How do you like Ben Affleck's? Where it's like
A
it's
modulation.
him
It's a
and he doesn't
modulation.
do anything, and then they do it
Yeah.
in post.
Hmm.
Because like that to me, like so they did that starting with Arrow.
Mhm.
Shout out to CW.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that, like to me, I was like, yeah, that probably would have been the next step to doing it versus like actually changing your voice
Yeah.
and sounding like you smoked 5,000 cigarettes.
To be perfectly honest, I'm not remembering
how Batman,
how
Batfleck. sounds.
Batfleck sounded. I think this one just because it.
I mean, he still
I
did
mean,
gruff. don't get me
kudos on
wrong.
them for
I prefer
sound.
this over Batfleck.
Kudos on sound because you can't tell. which
Yeah.
is nice because sometimes when you do a digital effect in post,
He still
you
does
can hear it.
he still does it a little bit, but they
Yeah.
just kind of
They just
push it.
give it a little
Yeah,
punch.
they probably
yeah.
added some low end to it.
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
They're
maybe
like, let's
even a
put some
little-
more bass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely sounds a lot higher pitched in
Yeah.
Batman Begins.
But he doesn't sound. The thing is that in The
Batman.
Dark Knight,
It's
it
more like that.
sounds put on.
Yeah.
In Batman Begins, it sounds like he is lowering his voice, but it doesn't sound. It just sounds like he's lowering his voice. This sounds put on to me. Like I'm
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
so it's
¿Dónde están los tragos?
those are my only qualms.
There you go.
Anyone
Very
else?
cool. Anybody else?
Kaylin?
My qualms are
Clammy
just
claims.
kind of already been stated. They're tiny things like the weird lines that are randomly thrown in, and some moments feel a little.
intimidated by thugs like you.
I didn't mind that one. And like to be honest, like it's not the actors, it's just some of the lines. I thought the lines from the cops were they were better written in the first film. Like,
Yeah.
it's a black
Yeah.
tank, that kind of thing. What road is he on? Road, he's on the rooftops, like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
They're more reactionary to what's happening, where these almost felt like,
Yeah.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Yeah.
And I think it's just noticing the seams a little more. I think that's the best way to describe my qualm, is that I just noticed the seams a little bit more on this one. The first one had like an overload of information, but I didn't really notice the seams of it. This one was more evenly
What do you mean
paced.
seams?
The like
Sorry, just to
the
clarification.
so like lines from the cops that are like really jarring, like that is a halting point for me. That's like
Okay.
I'm very aware of like this is a movie with cuts
To
and
you-
shots
to go-
and
just how they
actors
were
and-
written as
to go
opposed
further
to how they
into
were-
like a really well made piece of clothing, you can't see the seams.
No, I
Is what I would.
I know
think,
That's-
kind of.
We're saying the same thing.
Okay.
Yes, but
I know
he's
that.
asking me
I'm
to
saying,
explain
what are the seams
that.
in this?
Okay.
In this
The
case?
seams
You
for
want
that-
analogy.
Yeah.
Right.
I like
So-
the seams of my clothes.
That's great, Tom.
So like, is it
Um,
the because for me it's the writing. It's the like the cop lines. There's probably just as many, but it was how they were used as opposed
Yeah.
to.
That's a very, I guess my brain isn't working so formally. For me, it's just like I noticed things that I don't normally notice.
Okay.
And that felt very jarring to me, which is why I said like I noticed the seams more. Is because like normally when I take in a movie, I am a zombie. I am dead to the world. Like I am totally
Can
taken
I,
into the screen.
Can I
But
offer?
this had those moments that took me out of that experience, being like,
Well-
it's a movie.
Comparing one to the other, so Batman Begins, it had a full immersion that you got out of it. And
Yeah.
this one here, there are some points that broke the immersion.
Right, because for me,
Uh,
those
that's what
lines,
I'm saying, is
For
that-
me, it just felt like someone went. People really liked our cop dialogue during the car chases last time,
Let's
Let's
put
put
in
some
more.
more in.
Yeah.
and it didn't work as well.
The timing
and they
on
didn't
the
need
first
it
one
because the
too.
Joker is such a heavier thing than the car jumping from rooftop to rooftop is that fantastical thing.
Yeah.
But in a Joker car chase where he's trying to blow up Harvey Dent with bazookas and
Yeah.
anything he can, it just doesn't
Right.
mend
You don't
mesh
need
as well.
that levity.
We
every-
get it. We
And
get the gravity. of it.
30
Another
seconds.
like thread, I guess, was taking to the like the background actors and the peripheral characters that were in there. The first one,
Ancillary.
they were so good, ancillary. But then in the right during the interrogation, the guy that has the phone sewn into his stomach,
My Christmas.
he just
Oh,
wasn't as strong as
I
the
liked him.
paranoid schizophrenic guy. Not that he was bad, but
Yeah.
you know, there just wasn't. Everybody's way up here, so if you're even like an inch down, it's noticeable. Yeah,
My last qualm will be when they divert underground, which is where they don't want to be. In the shot, the street across, which is also empty, has nothing blocking it.
oh yeah, to go
So
out.
I didn't know why they didn't.
Oh, the
just,
oncoming traffic.
Go
why
down,
they didn't
coming.
just go to the oncoming and then go around because they got sirens they could put on and
Yeah.
everything. But instead they
Well-
divert underground where they're like, we're gonna be fucked under there.
Well, they're not in LA. They're not filled with assholes.
They could have just.
Hate that shit.
blocked some more.
Yeah,
Well, it's already blocked because
Well-
there's no cars. There's no
well,
cars on the
yeah.
oncoming side, so they could
Right.
have just.
I'm saying block that also.
Yeah.
What it
Yeah.
made
It
believe
looked like
that
it
they
already
had
was,
to
is
go.
what I'm trying to say. Oh, you
Oh.
mean the villains block both sides?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
So they-
absolutely.
right.
Yes. Or go one more street
It's
over. I
my
don't know.
it takes one line of dialogue argument.
That's the only. It doesn't take away from it because I'm
Right.
like, obviously you get
Right.
fantastic.
I hate the one line of dialogue argument. I would have been like, crop the shot.
Or that.
Crop
yeah,
the shot
crop
and
it.
punch
Yeah.
it.
That kind of counts still as one
To
line.
me,
dialogue.
that's like you show it better than.
it's you not
Yeah,
the
but
it's you not
grandma's there.
needing
to
the-
both your
it's you not
points, if
needing
they
it.
had blocked the other side or if they'd cropped the shot, either way, to
Not the
to force
widest
them
shot
underground.
possible.
But the whole every time I watch it, I'm like, why don't they just go? Because then you can see
Wally
you can
puts
see
the
another
IMAX
you can see
down.
another cross.
No, I didn't notice it, and now my mind's tracking it, and my brain going, yeah.
They could, and you can see where it crosses again. They could just go back to the same.
And
line.
there's nothing.
I mean,
Yeah.
in
It's
terms
a
There's
of
ghost
also-
town.
There's also enough room for the cars to go around it, but
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of logic, because no one mounts the curb down.
But meh.
In terms of logic, because no mount the curb.
That's so
But
funny.
in terms of logic, all of Gotham is super unrealistic. You know why?
'cause
There's no traffic.
yeah.
yeah.
And people could just fucking U-turn. How could a Lambo cut off a fucking SWAT vehicle?
Yeah.
That's impossible. Like, how could none of the traffic makes sense, right? Like, to me, I was almost like, well, I want to live there.
Yeah.
I would live in all the crime if I could
I would
fucking
save
get
so
somewhere.
much gas, no more
Just
Also-
not
traffic.
traffic.
Is that
Other
is
than
that-
the muggings, that would cost something.
is what he
Well, it
did?
dep- Don't live in the Narrows.
Oh, fair.
Is what he did catching the light?
He was trying to, yeah,
He was trying to catch the light. He,
quote unquote
But it
trying
would
to
just
catch the
turn
light.
green. Is what happened?
yeah, so he just like, oh fuck this, and went ahead
Oh,
around
yeah.
people. He probably
Mount the curb.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought catch the light meant like get to the yellow before it turns, like get through the yellow.
He
before it
wanted to
turns red.
catch light before it changed. It doesn't matter where
Hmm.
it's at.
well, you were in LA. You've driven next to assholes who just
Yeah.
do stupid shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This isn't 30 seconds in, right? we
So,
won't get demonetized for that.
That's,
All right.
those are my two qualms: is the lines and the street blockage.
Rating now.
Rating.
All right. So
Rating.
first is Ollie and Tom.
Oh boy.
I wonder what
Five.
this is going to be.
Then it's
Oh,
me.
wow, I'm
Do you have your
shocked.
numbers all ready to go?
fucking celebrate.
Yeah?
No, none
Yeah?
of this. Come on. I was
Everyone
going to say,
got
you
their-
want to do it on 5? 1, 2, 3,
Writing
4,
down theirs.
5.
Write mine down.
And that was it.
It's a 5. No, I mean
No shit.
not a surprise, right?
No, this is the best of the trilogy.
Yeah, I can watch this anytime. It's my favorite movie of the trilogy. It's my favorite superhero movie. It's my favorite movie.
This is the highest rated.
Incredible actors, incredible performances.
Highest rated superhero film.
Most of the dialogue is pretty great.
The dialogue that matters is great.
Right.
I'll go with calculation.
I mean, if
love
you
that.
if
How
you
long you calculate you live in there?
go watch the Directors R Us episode where me and Tom and I kind of get in about
Cross streams.
about Christopher Nolan and why I love his filmmaking and the momentum of plot and the momentum of scenes. He uses music so well to thread everything and thread emotion and thread what you should care about right now in the movie.
And also
he's good at telling you that.
build an orchestrated ending that's like, ugh.
And just have all the
He should have directed the last season of Game of Thrones.
just
God.
masterful writing, masterful filmmaking.
A kiss from a rose
Why?
on the grave.
My heart.
Ooh, the more I can.
Wow. I almost lost you there.
I mean, it has its faults. Every movie does. Nothing's perfect. Everything's
Not my
form
diagnosis.
of expression, form of artistic expression. So the things that we find qualms are probably the best solution for the person that made them. And
I would say like this: there could be continuity, and there could be like a whack
Yeah.
line here and there,
Yeah,
and shit like that. Like compared to like another film.
but as far
nowadays.
as what the movie sets out to achieve, I think it does in spades. It does better than most have attempted. So
and to me, like again, like there's other films that will have the same amount of budget, will make more money than this will ever make, and will have a cleaner cut narrative, and they won't have any continuity errors and all that stuff. But like to me, it really does stand the test of time. Like at least to me, it's like it's trying to say something.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where like your film's just like, here's a story about a boy who gets powers
I
and
also
then
want to
saves
point
the
out
day.
that budget includes paying for a full IMAX camera they broke.
yeah.
Could have been a lower
Oops.
budget.
Oh, God.
And like I've gotten to a point where like things like that lower fifth thing, I'm kind of starting to forgive a lot more because I'm like, just the driver made a bad decision, not the filmmaker. Like that's how I'm kind of like excusing stuff like that.
Sure.
Not that specific example.
That's a
But,
bad
like,
example, but I get you.
Bad example,
I
but
get
like, okay, well the character was just an idiot.
It's like,
or something. Or
Why
Gordon.
didn't Natasha
That's true,
Romanoff
it's Gordon.
say?
Gordon.
Gordon is driving, so that's a terrible example. But
It's like, why didn't Natasha Romanoff just say, "Hey, why don't we just go back in time and tell Thor to aim for the head"?
Yeah.
End of the movie.
why the hell did he drive down to lower fifth?
I'm trying to tell you that's my qualm.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway.
Now I support that a little bit more.
Because Batman was down there.
Because it's not good.
You know what? 1.1. Okay.
So I'm next.
Yeah.
Yep.
I have my qualms. I had the secondary characters get under my skin. I got that street block. So I give it a 5.
I was like, we're in
I was just
And no one was surprised.
Thank you for your delivery.
You're welcome. Gotta keep it interesting. Gotta keep 'em
I
on their
was
toes.
staring at a massive 5 circled like 500 times. I was like, I have
my book closed. What are you talking about?
Yeah, okay.
I do.
All right,
no,
stop
I saw
stalling.
it.
Caitlin, Josh, go.
No, it's Josh, not
Josh.
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 It's a 5. I just,
Let's go,
I know I
Grump.
have my qualms, but watching it again today, I was like, I look at those things that I said are qualms, and I'm like, it's just such a good movie. I
Yeah.
love every scene and like little lines of dialogue or little logic
They didn't
things
take
that I'm
away
like,
from your overall experience.
no, I'm like, this movie is so good. Caitlin.
Kaylin.
It's 5.
Yeah.
You're okay. It's okay.
I knew it the most you didn't say so then I was like, it's a 5 now.
Yeah. Well,
couldn't
it's
read
one of those things where like noticing the seams doesn't make it bad. If I can see this movie today when I haven't seen it in years and remember almost all of it crisply, to me that's like crisply. I know, whatever. I choose words and say that.
Crispic.
Crispix. It's my Crispix.
Crispically.
No, just if I can remember something that strongly, it had a massive impact on me. And I don't know how it affected my life viewing it for the first time or anything, but it definitely is something that will resonate with you.
You heard it here first.
All
You
5s.
You heard it here first. We're all the grump.
No, that means there's
No
no
grump.
grump.
All of the grump.
No.
Every
we're all
Technically,
single
grump.
I wanted to
one.
give it a 5.1 or something.
I did. I was like, can I give it a 5.1? Can I break the scale?
Surround
No.
Nope. It's a
Only you
5.
could do that or guess, like Bonnie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No grump. All the grump.
No
No
grump.
grump.
No grump.
No grump.
Good.
No grump.
No grump this episode.
Can I get a shiny 5 at least?
Didn't one
Yeah.
of the
Yeah, you
didn't
can
one
have
of
a
the
shot.
patrons say, is there going to be a grump?
My wife.
Yeah.
Dana.
Is there really-
Actually, no. The grump is Penny, your cat.
Yeah.
She said Penny could be the grump.
Yeah, the stand-in grump.
We'll
care.
we'll post a picture of Penny with a grump
She
crown.
gives it a
Yeah.
4.9 because there's no Catwoman.
Also,
Yeah.
one thing I like about this film a lot is that there's so much
It's
screaming.
Christian Bale.
There's so much yelling.
Look
at me! It's like,
Yeah.
oh fuck.
Yeah.
Rachel! Yeah. You don't think I will?
So I guess it's appropriate. I've been scared by screaming about 6 times by now.
Yeah.
I compare you to a kiss from a rose.
You both suck.
Man, this episode is gonna be so hard to mix.
Good.
Yeah, have fun with
Good
that.
for you,
I
buddy.
backed off every time.
I know. But I could still hear the
The only time.
the sound of distortion.
Oh, real quick. So you love Two-Face. Did you like this design?
Oh my god.
Because it's
yes.
not the like
The suit and
animated
everything.
version where
It wasn't like burnt. It was
It's
like
not the acid burn.
burnt.
So,
So-
it's the
I
burnt
literally,
away.
I literally connected the
He
dots.
was also crispy.
he was so crispy.
Crispic. I was thinking about it where I was like, where did he get this burnt? Oh, he just probably took his old suit.
Yeah.
I just thought I was like,
Yeah.
because I was like,
probably at
did
the
he
hospital.
burn
There's a
new
part of me
suit?
that goes, damn man, you got some bad luck because they got out of the building.
Yeah.
They got out of the building and they were almost away, and then it blew up and some residual caught on the. It's like
On the gasoline you had all
It's
over.
soaked
it.
into
It was
his
soaked in it.
pores.
Some would
Yeah.
say it's fate.
I guess so.
It's fate.
Oh.
It was just. It was. It
Everything
was really
burns,
cool to see.
even
like,
skin.
everything
Oh.
burns.
Especially
Yeah.
skin is what it is.
He was
So-
such
But
boyfriend material.
I
Too bad
lo-
it was highly flammable.
I loved all of the jaw coming out.
Oh, the chin.
Yeah, I just loved it.
When he
And-
wipes it,
Ugh.
when it
When he
spills
takes
out,
a drink,
Oh.
the shot. Do you know how
Oh.
much that would fucking hurt?
Yeah.
A
so
lot.
much.
yeah,
Every
he's in
time.
agonizing pain. He
Because
won't
he's
take
just
skin
like
grafts.
he's just open wound,
all the day.
and he's like whiskey.
But
Exposed bones.
I loved how he didn't have an eyelid.
Oh, and you just see his
like
eyeball.
every
like,
other, well,
yeah.
other than Bruce Timm's version, like
That's his
Tommy Lee
eyeball moving.
Jones, you've seen like he's got. It's pretty much just like.
I
a
wonder
pink
if they had
face.
to digitally remove blinking from him so that he wouldn't look like he was winking.
Well, his whole side, that side of the face is CG.
Yeah, but I'm saying to CG his real eye to not blink.
Does he not blink?
And I looked and I never saw him blink.
Well,
Oh,
maybe he's
interesting.
method.
Did he put like Vaseline on his eye?
Maybe he just
Yes.
put
How did he-
skin.
That's
has-
what he did.
he has
put
a-
Vaseline
He just
in
taped his-
eye.
Making it
Actually, he
keeping
burned
it
his whole face
moist.
off for the role.
Yeah,
He
it's
did nothing.
Nice. Oh my
And then
god.
he had
Heath Ledger
skin
also killed a
grafted.
bunch of people, and
Yeah.
And then he met Nicolas Cage,
That's
and then he
method
put
for ya.
face on.
yeah, and
And then doves flew, and
Yeah.
fucking lights.
anyways,
Did we do it?
I think we're done.
Did it.
Complete.
We did it. We
I'm
did your favorite
complete.
movie, Ollie.
Yeah, my favorite movie.
Aw.
We did it. Now we are never doing anything that
you
you
like
want to
again.
do.
Oh,
Love you.
the realization sinks in.
Damn it. This was it.
This was it. You spent it.
This
All
was
right,
your
well,
one.
it's been a ride.
Everybody at
Yeah.
home, thank you so much for listening to part 2 of our 3-part
Stay
The
tuned for
Dark
part
Knight
3.
trilogy.
Will we like
2-year
Rises
anniversary.
as much as The Dark Knight? Tune in and find out. Just press next.
Yeah.
Can you not interrupt Josh as he does the end roll?
Thank you so much for
3.
listening. We really appreciate you guys. If you
I appreciate
are
you more.
new to, I'm sorry that I don't appreciate you as much as Corey does, but I do appreciate you.
We all do.
Please share us with your friends, your family. If you are new to Nerd On, check out nerdon.tv. It has all the information about what Nerd On is. We have multiple podcasts. We have all sorts of kinds of content, like video content and written content and streaming
Bunch of
content.
shows.
Lots of stuff going on.
Our merch is there too.
Our merch is there. But yeah, stop by the old
that hat.
iTunes and rate and review us. But yeah, that's the end of the spiel. Thank you so much for listening. We love you guys. You know the drill. As always,
Nerd on. Oh my god.
Ending broadcast.